Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to Battle Rap Resume. This is your host, as ever, Tom Quee. Thank you so much for listening. Please, if you want to help out the podcast, I would really appreciate if you followed us on Twitter at Battle Rap Resume, all one word. Subscribe to us on YouTube. I know I hate to open the episodes up like this, begging people to follow and subscribe. It's so beggy and it's so battle rap, but it's just kind of part of the part of the luster, I'm afraid. And another thing I'd really like, and I appreciate this already. Hippie Harry has left me a review on iTunes. Thank you, Harry. I'm sure you're listening. I really appreciate that. If you could leave a review on iTunes or a rating, that would be really well received. Not only because it would boost my ego, but because iTunes runs on this algorithm for their front page called New and Noteworthy. And basically, it's kind of like trending new podcasts of the last year, 2 years or so that are getting some hype. And they go on the front page and they kind of can boom off from there, really. I'm not saying I'm doing this for the fame, but, you know, if you'd like to leave a review or something just to help us out, that would be brilliant. But anyway, onto the podcast. What really interests me about the UK as a whole, despite being, you know, comparatively tiny to the US and Canada, is that we have a fuck ton of battle rap leagues. I went onto Verse Tracker this morning, and by my count, they tend to count channels, so they'll count Don't Flop and Don't Flop Extras, different leagues as it were. But by my count, there are roughly about 40 leagues in this country, or there have been 40 leagues kind of occupying at one time or another. Obviously, a lot of them have gone by the wayside. We're talking about leagues in general, not even the ones that have defunct, but, you know, stuff like, alongside Don't Flop, stuff like Words of Weapons, which is a fantastic league, Wrapped in Wire, where Raptor got his start, Jump Off, where and Arcade would start off, Lord of the Mics, of course, is huge, Cold City Battles, which did battles in garages. Check out the Press One episode for some more history on that. We also have Spit Roast Battles, which is where I had my very first battle as Clandestine with a K. If you want to look that up, it's a terrible battle. I mostly do gay jokes and your mom jokes, which just horrifies me when I watch it back. I'm like, what was I thinking? I'm being so horribly homophobic and just awful. Like, it really makes me cringe. I talk about coming on people's eyes and faces and baptisms of jisms. It's fucking awful. But check it out if you want to watch a really bad battle, because Clandestine versus Nader was his name, the guy that I faced. He was a right arse. Leagues like Clash Money get slated. You know, Poetic Warfare, Battle of the Brave, and of course, probably the most notorious one, the one that everyone goes to, the one that kind of is forever, you know, lurking in the eaves of the whole culture, is King of the Ronalds. Obviously, Mickey Worthless and Hulk and Bowski are kind of involved with that league. It's been going a little while now. I think 2 or 3 years or something like that. It's been getting on, and I'm really happy to announce that today's episode I have the King of the Ronalds, BARD. BARD, what's up, man?
Hello, hey Tom, how's it going? Thank you for having me on the show.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. So, I mean, we'll touch on the battle as towards the end of the episode, but you just beat Pamphlet, I believe, to retain the chain.
Yeah, and that was in Newcastle.
Oh, hometown.
I haven't lived there for a number of years, but it is still the hometown. And Pamplet's from up. Well, he lives up there as well now. So, you know, it was a really great crowd. Fantastic atmosphere. Obviously, you know, the King and the Ronalds atmosphere combined with that Geordie propensity for getting absolutely fucking just wankered at any given opportunity.
Bobby Davro was there.
Yeah, Bobby Davro was there. Yeah.
How was he?
He's doing all right, you know. Yeah. Just
he's clearly
keep the paychecks coming in.
Right. Was it like kind of like the Christmas special of The Office when like Brent is kind of going on like talent shows with like Howard from Halifax? Did it have that vibe, or was it a bit more?
I mean, he didn't stay for the whole of the show. Right. There's a reason. He left just before my battle.
Did Pedro punch him?
No, Pedro wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Pedro was shook. Bobby Davro got just savage left hook on him, and you know he doesn't have my level head.
Yeah. Nice.
So I think we were best just to keep those two fighting, those two pit bulls away from each other.
Well, I can't wait for that to come out. And again, we'll touch on that. King of the Ronalds is kind of far off in the mist of narrative distance, as it were. And I want to start with like, what were your beginnings? I mean, it's mentioned in a few battles, and like I'm just sort of hypothesizing here. Was it a case of you were on the forum and that's how you got into battle rap? Were you into battling before the forum? Was that a big part of you getting into battling? Like, what did you have with it?
I'm going to blow some minds here.
Please.
and say I actually have quite a lot of acting, sort of theatre filmmaking background. I know, right? And so back in high school, after show parties, just when we were just getting pissed after a show, what have you, it became this running thing that we would watch a rap battle. And the first battle I ever watched was at an after show party after a show we'd done.
What was the show? Sorry, do you remember?
Oh fucking hell! I know it was a musical.
Okay. So you would sing?
Yeah, I can sing.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, I can sing. I can dance. I can dance.
I can dance, baby.
Yeah. I know Bowski already cornered the singing dancing niche mid battle. I didn't want to, so otherwise you might see a little bit of that in the future. But yeah, the first battle, my mate just like, look at this, they're having a rap battle, and it was fucking Thesaurus versus Justice at Scribble Jam.
Damn. Wow, that's heavy as an early one.
Hell of, excuse my speech impediment, I'm learning how to speak American. Australian, a less distinguished version of an English person. Just like just stuff that you can quote to this day. Incredible battle. So a great one to have as your first. And then we just thought, it's like 2 a.m. with Wankhead. Was like, we can do that. Yeah. And we had a little freestyle battle at this party, and it was ass. I think I rhymed solicitor with your mum's a whore. To give you a little insight into the kind of quality of bars you were dealing with there. And it became this running thing that it became our like party piece. Me and a couple of the other guys that we would just battle each other, or battle random people, or battle imaginary characters, or battle. And like anything, like if you do it a lot, you become slightly better at it. And then same deal at university. There's always some drunken athletics union guy party who's like, oh, let's have a rap battle. And then we with a couple years of freestyle practice behind me, I kind of acquitted myself fairly well there.
Yes.
Again, not to a standard, like not ever to a standard that I would have been comfortable going and doing a gig. No. But I always stuck with like watching battles and whatnot. So through Scribble, I saw obviously King of the Dot. Holohan versus Lavish Language was the first like battle I watched, and I thought, I think that's kind of how it's supposed to be done. Watching Holohan, and then it dipped into Don't Flop because it actually took a lot for me to really get into the British the British side of things, because obviously the British style is super jokey, like especially back then. We're talking like 2008. 2009, it's like mum jokes, gay jokes, and whatnot, and that's great. That's got its pace, but that's got its place. But I like the battle aspect of it. I like seeing people just get shredded apart and just that savagery. So it was actually guys like Censor that really made me click and maybe pay attention to the UK scene back then. But yeah, I mean, obviously then just found my way out of the forums and just started, rest in peace the Don't Flop forum.
Is it still going, right? I wasn't really on it, but it's quite mythic in the culture.
So the Don't Flop website forum, not Viewpoint, because fuck Viewpoint and all who's sailing it.
They are different.
The actual Don't Flop forum where the OGs dwell, it's still there, but can't get to it from the actual the main navigation on the site. But if you type in the URL bar don'tflop.com/forum, you can still access it and read years worth of posts and what have you. There are still people that post there. I still poke my head in occasionally. It is dead. It is to all extents and purposes dead.
Right.
But the South may rise again.
Yeah. No, of course. I think you're right. I think if you go on their actual website now and you click on the forum button, it takes you to Viewpoint. So there's clearly a sort of they want to distance themselves from that. But that's how Callum rose, right? He was like a forum guy, and now he's staff. That's crazy. People
think Callum from the forum refers to Viewpoint, but no, Callum was running the original forum. From back in the day, started off as a lowly moderator, and now no shouts out to Callum though, because Callum does an incredible job. I was privileged to work with Callum when I was blogging for Don't Flop, and like the amount of stuff that he actually does and doesn't take or want any credit for is a testament to the dude's character. So I think he deserves to have risen to that level of success.
Yeah, no, totally. He seems like a great guy, and he's great to have on the staff, and it's just such a Don't Flop thing to do. You can never imagine King of the Dot URL recruiting like a vlogger onto the actual roster and it working, but for some reason it does in Don't Flop, and they seem to be all the stronger for it. But of course we're here for you, and we're here for your battles. And your first battle online, is this your actual first battle? The Toucan, Baron Mine and Unseen, this is at Barmageddon.
Everyone shut the fuck up while I own these fags. Have them slowly swinging from the roof like that Corona flag. And fucking I'm a titan of a man, like a Viking with a plan to keep the writing stuff to hand when I'm lighting up a gram. Don't understand? Scram! You're frightening the madams. You're not exciting, and it's like you're fucking trying to be bland.
Was this your first on-cam battle?
That was my first not filmed, not wasted and doing it for a laugh. There is footage, I think, floating around, but I can't. I couldn't tell you where it is. But so after uni, I was bored and I watched a lot of battles, and it's that that thought process was like, I'm not great, but I'm better than a lot of the guys that are doing it. So why not? And I hit up. It was Barmageddon.
Big up Wolverhampton.
Wolverhampton, man. Yeah, always have a fun place in my heart. You can get a hotel room there for £20.
You can. Their football stadiums on an Asda car park. It's fantastic.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, Molyneux, which sounds like a dwarven fortress, but is not. It's very depressing. But this is Wolverhampton League. Pamphlet is introducing you, and I must say, Bard, you look very young in this video. I've been watching a lot of your stuff recently, obviously making the notes and flitting back and forwards through time. So I'm going to King of the Ronalds, grizzled Bard, to you look so soft here. Are you wearing a GTA t-shirt as well?
That is what battle rap will do to you. 3 fucking years, 3.5 maybe now.
Yeah.
The battle rap will turn you from that fresh-faced young thing into the fucking hideous troll you see before you. I think, fuck knows. I don't know what I was wearing. I know I was wearing a suit jacket.
So, and this was just a kind of, let's just do a freestyle battle kind of thing, because you mentioned that someone bailed on you.
Yeah, so I did. I went through the so the story behind that's cool. I went through the normal channels. I just emailed the guy and went, hey, look, I'm interested in actually getting up and doing this. I have some performance background. I'm not a complete schmuck. Can you put me on? And I got set up with a proper tryout against some guy. No, I can't tell you his name. Sorry.
I actually have it down here. Was it Mimic?
Mimic rings a bell.
Yeah. I think it was.
So I wrote 3 rounds for him and prepped, and it was all good. And he didn't turn up. He no-showed me. So which happens, battle rappers being battle rappers. And then I'm sort of sitting around looking a bit bummed out because it's your first battle. You always your first battle is always super hyped. I'm going to take the world by fucking storm. I'm going to have my fucking 8 Mile moment. It's going to be incredible. And then the organizer comes up to me, a guy called Skitty, I think. I should know this. Oh, it's awful, too bad of me. I've forgotten his name. I think Skitty comes up and says, look, Toucan says he's up for doing a freestyle battle alongside you 2-on-2 to just help you out. I'm just like, fucking Toucan, great. I've seen that guy. I know that guy. He's cool. Love that guy. So I said, yeah, cool. So we worked on talk, and then Baron Mind was there, and Baron Mind, incredible freestyle, incredible. He's not doing the battle stuff so much now. I think he's more involved in filmmaking. He's big sort of horror films and stuff. So that's cool. Just did actually, from battling some random Wolverhampton tryout no name to up against established name, alongside Toucan, who's super established, alongside Baron Mind, who then was super established, and has always been sort of influential in the really early days of the indie battle circuit, and one of his mates actually turned out a lot better for me.
Yeah, his mate being Unseen, and in the first round, I mean, it is a freestyle battle. I mentioned this many times about our resume that I'm just interested in freestyle battles. In the past Most Prob episode, we've spoken about the Pedro and DNA battles. I just kind of like where the mind goes in these events, and I'm not going to say this is a transcendental thesaurus justice kind of battle, but there's some okay moments. Their first round is not that good. He kind of Unseen goes up to you and says that you might have a goatee, but this thing isn't going to be a close shave. There we go. And a bar that confuses me that Baron Mind says, mate, when your mom gave birth to you, she must have went to Specsavers.
Conceived me maybe when she conceived me.
I get, but I mean, a bar should hit, right? I mean, you shouldn't be puzzling, but
none of my bars hit. I didn't spit a punch. I don't think I spat a punch line.
No, you do.
First 3 battles.
You do actually. You spit a really good punch in the first. It's a big reaction when you say. Obviously, this was a Christmas event, we should say as well, Pamphlet hosting. And you talk about this guy, your hat says ho, ho, ho. It's the only free you'll ever have in your head tonight. And it's just you conceive of it quite quickly and it's quite nice. And then Toucan kind of resolves it by calling himself Battle Rap's Ned Flanders. And he says, this is Toucan, bring the roof down on these tools like I'm shed smashing.
Smashing Ned Flanders. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, yeah, like we were saying, it's freestyle, and, Unseen begins his second by saying how much he loves weed. And just
Doesn't he say, I smoke spliffs for a living?
Yeah, he does.
I don't think that's a viable business model, bro.
It doesn't make sense, no. Toucan wouldn't raise heirs if he was William and Kate. Not awful. I mean, there's some stuff here. Pamphlet sounds really tired when he introduces your second round. He sounds bored. It kind of like
that night. Pamphlet did a concept battle. He was dressed as the Queen, and Pete Cashmore was dressed as Santa Claus. So I think maybe Pamphlet's just got the looming like, oh, I'm gonna have to dress as the Queen and spit bars later kind of thing going on.
How was that battle?
It's up. It's there. I was there for it.
You're giving no reaction to it though.
It was a battle to happen.
Right.
I mean, it's a concept battle, so it's always going to have that kind of pushing it along. I think concept battles have a place, definitely. I'm not a super purist about stuff like this, and I think it was the right event for it. It was the right vibe. It was well received. It went down well.
And just to wrap up on the third as well, little 90s scheme of yours. You kind of just touch on the cartoons here, call him a fucking rugrat. I'm a real monster. And then you talk about hitting his girl's Angry Beaver, which I appreciated, because Angry Beaver's quite a deep cut. You went kind of surface on the early ones, but you got that deep Nickelodeon game going on there. But we'll push through to your Don't Flop tryout, which was 2013, Rapping It Park, of which there were quite there were a few good tries at this event actually. On top of my head, Mr. Ree tried out, Koj tried out against Gov, which is quite a good try actually, quite a good battle in general.
That was I think probably the best battle of that day, but Gov versus Koj.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about you, but someone emailed in actually to the podcast saying that I need to stop talking about my own battle career, but I'll just touch briefly on when I tried out in a similar Rapping It Park event. I don't know about you, but I remember like every aspect of that day. Like my Don't Flop tryout, it's not even that it was like a grand moment in my life or anything. It definitely wasn't, but it was just a surreal thing, waking up and knowing I was going to be sort of on Don't Flop. I mean, how are you feeling going towards Brains?
See, I've leveled up a bit this past 6 months. My power has grown. But Maximus is done with the provinces. Now I'm in Rome. Yeah, I'm a gladiator. You a fighting dog, and that's a proper scheme. The difference, that just come down to how comfortable the collars seem. But that accent, that's a strange thing that used to try to test me, because 1 minute he wants fries with Pepsi. Oh, the next he's sighted, Nessie.
Brains was a weird guy, so I got through because I think I approached it. I try to approach the whole. I try to approach Don't Flop as respectfully as I could, because you watch a lot of tryouts, you watch a lot of tryouts that have just turned up and said I'll do this, and we're back to the Chinchilla Cameron days, the Nikki the Negro, the people that just really shouldn't be doing it. So I did a few battles just to kind of get my head around it all beforehand. Yeah, and then you went for the tryout, and I think I got definitely the most interesting character given to me in the form of Brains. Like Brains is a weird guy. So for those of you who don't know, Brains is a rapper from Scotland who he tried to get signed, and they said, look, nobody's gonna sign you if you got rapping in a Scottish accent. We don't want Scottish rappers. You look like the Proclaimers, etc. Blah blah blah. So what he did, him and his mate, was he went back, gave it a year or so for things to die down, and they invented these characters, Syllable and Brains, two guys from LA who were just moving and happened to live in Scotland. And they went and they got signed, and they fooled, but they didn't just do it as a stage persona. They lived it. They pretended to be. They lied to their management. They lied to their fucking everyone they went on tour with. Everyone pretended to be these characters for 2 years and just lived a lie. And they ended up touring with D12 and shit. It was ridiculous. And then they got found out, and it all came crashing down. And I think he had he ended up actually working as he went into sex work for a while. which is the point
you bring that up,
that's the point of my second, and I think like that was such a ridiculous angle. Like he's led such a ridiculous life that I was telling everybody this, and everyone's looking at me like, why are you making up all this bollocks? And I was like, no, it's fucking true.
Yeah.
But the actual day itself was great, and I actually met JTC, Jack, who battles now. He's had some cracking battles on Don't Flop. He's had some good King of the Ronalds battles. We met him that day for the first time, and it's just a really good day out. And like obviously, before you can kind of peek, before you peek behind the curtain and whatnot, like you say, it's like shit. I'm going to be on Don't Flop. This is great. I just you have a great day out in the park. I wasn't hydrated. I didn't have enough weed, and I didn't have enough beer to get myself to the mental space in which I normally battle.
Yeah.
So I was like always conscious that I was just like, oh, I'm really thirsty.
So what is your optimum BARD battle state then? You like to be really high, like 6 cans deep, or?
It is 4 pints of Stella,
right?
2 Jaeger bombs and a spliff.
Wow, shit.
That's the that is the mental space. That is the Zen moment. That is the chemognosis.
So Brains, as you say, he mentions, I mean, it's kind of like on one point, on one hand, I kind of respect the guy because clearly, it's a big opportunity. A Don't Flop try can lead to huge things, and he's milking it for all it's worth. So in his intro, he mentions that he's got a documentary coming out on the BBC. He talks about how he and his boys toured with Shady, as you say. Again, says there's a book coming out, and then he does something quite beggy. He shouts out Archaic and who are standing there for fucking starting the scene. And then like kind of like rolls a bit and kind of like bumps Archaic and stuff, but it's a little bit, I don't know, I found it quite cringy, to be honest. And
that's what you've got to do.
Yeah, I suppose so. And you yourself in your intro say it feels really good to be in London, and you do your little kind of acronyms or your kind of calling cards. So you talk about first of all TFN, Team
Forum Nerd. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course.
There was a time, again, going back to the original Don't Flop forum, where so the reason. So okay, so there's the difference between like the classic forum kind of format and the Viewpoint format is that Viewpoint moves so fast. Like a post that is like gone and forgotten and buried in 4 to 8 hours, whereas on the older forum styles are a lot more static. Stuff stays there, and battle rappers go to the forums and they read what people say about them, and they don't always like it. Battle rappers being the most egotistical, butthurt demographic in all the show business. So Cracker, may he rest in hell, went to the forum one time, and he saw some shit that people were posting and he didn't like it. But it was a few posts in a huge thread saying like Cracker's incredible, like Cracker's fantastic.
Oh, right.
I think Cracker is top tier in the UK. I think he's beaten every mid-tier name that gets thrown at him. So what does that make it?
He's going to be on the show soon, yeah.
Yeah, as a battler, I think he's top tier. As a human being, less so. But he just started. I think in his one of his battles, then he went to like, oh, fuck the forum nerds in one of his intro.
Oh, right.
So it was in my Woods battle, my second ever battle, because after I just shouted out, yo, Team Forum nerd, you don't know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it ended up, it ended up clicking, and so again, JTC, a Team Forum nerd original, Crescendo, rest in peace, JB, the 30 pieces of silver taken Judas that he is. All back in the day have been part of the dominant stable in battle rap that is Team Forum Nerd.
Well, it's interesting again that himself says in the intro about the forum. He mentions the actual forum, not Viewpoint. This is long before Viewpoint comes in. And it's probably also worth saying that Marlowe hilariously breaks down Cracker's forum obsession in the doubles battle against C Major and Cracker. So definitely check that out. Talking about them in their bus going down to Portsmouth or whatever.
Is that the one where he's like, oh, they think they're getting to me?
Yeah.
Marlowe's fucking brilliant.
I know. I love that. That battle, by the way, one of the all-time greatest Don't Flop performances by Marlowe and Shuffle in the battle is 3 rounds of just seminally brilliant material, and they perform it so well. And like C Major and Cracker are the perfect opponents because they're just interesting angles you can take with both of them together and extraneously. But we'll get into this battle, and Brains goes first. Brains states that you're from Cambridge, Newcastle. He says you love black holes, not in space, in the guys he's screwing.
Yeah.
So your face at that bar is great. You start this sort of like, he brings his book into the video during the round, and then he lambasts you for not having a book, which you rebuttal later. But it's laughable, really. He doesn't really understand why a book has value. Like, a book only has value after you've read it and enjoyed it and engaged with it. Just because he has a book, that doesn't mean anything. There are more shit books than good ones. You know what I mean? I don't really understand his logic there. And then he brings out a kind of laminated sheet, which looks like the For Dummies, the classic kind of, self-help guide on everything kind of thing. But the camera doesn't quite catch it, so it's a bit annoying because you can't quite see what it said. But I think it says how to be a gay MC in the hardcore Cambridge streets, which isn't like an unfunny antic to throw, but he does it so quickly that it kind of gets, swallowed. But you wouldn't tell for Shady for nothing, regardless of your kind of fictional backstory. And he does have a little bit of technique, and then he kind of finishes it off by throwing his wallet out the ring, if you recall.
He says could give you a run for my money if you threw the wallet down the park. Or something.
Yes, and then you come with a rebuttal. That's some fucking fake shit. I've got rebuttals to say, as if a fucking Scot would throw his money away.
Yeah.
You must be pretty proud of that rebuttal. That's a fucking... just like it's speedy. Like, you're talking of your years in the drama school and kind of doing that. Like, that's something that's impressed me watching all your battles, is your rebuttal ability. I kind of forgot how sharp you were with that.
If you learn how to freestyle, I'll never ever say that I'm an incredible freestyler. I think I can lock in on certain things, and I like to rebuttal the last thing a guy said. So if they say something right at the start and you can look on camera and see the guy just sitting there like sweating and try to work out a rebuttal to it, I don't think it's as impressive. So I know this is not one of the battles we're going to be covering, so just to jump forward, about the MC on King of the Ronalds, and I was going in because he went back to some one of the groupie is an awful word. Battle rapper enthusiast. He went back to the hotel room of a battle rapper enthusiast, and instead of making her enthusiastic, he slept on her floor. And I said something like, "Oh, stories, this hotel lord, you slept on a hotel floor," and he went, "Yeah, like a G." It's like, don't speak during my round. And then people giggled a little bit. It just gave me a little time to be like, yeah, if you were a G, you would try to hit a G spot or something. So that I think rebuttals are best when they're immediate and in the moment. Otherwise, it's still a written that you've just had a minute to write as opposed to a week or whatever.
Yeah, I've never thought about it like that, but that is true. And again, big up to Most Prob with the whole the soul flip that he comes with, the Loch Ness League.
I lost my shit with that.
Incredible. Incredible.
Prob can freestyle 3 rounds. I can't. I couldn't freestyle 3 rounds. I would probably have better moments than Most Prob, but consistency would get me if we ever had a freestyle battle.
And really good first round, really, from you. You come off the momentum of the rebuttal into some kind of, proto BARD stuff, some Maximus Gladiator stuff. Throw 2 up in the time of war like Winston Churchill. Pretty nice. You keep doing name flips to kind of remind us that he named himself after blowjobs. You mentioned a past scalp of mine too, Murta. Shout out to Murta. He's been mentioned on his podcast a few times already, weirdly.
Did you beat Murta?
I lost on the crowd decision. But
yeah, we are both murder victims. I lost a murder.
Premeditated
on decision. Shout out Murta though. Like Murta is like the dad joke king.
Yeah,
I think there is a place in Battle Rap for Murta if he wants to come back.
For sure. Because
he's so his self-awareness game is incredible, and he knows kind of what he's doing and how he's being received, and he just grins in your face and he says it anyway, and it's like.
No, it was. I remember going to the because we first met briefly when I battled Murta at the Rise of the Foot Soldier event in where was it? It was Acton. That's right. It was in Acton, and this was kind of I'd had like a tryout, whatever, and on a lower Birmingham league, and then this was the King of the Ronalds debut or whatever, and I was kind of ready to kind of be pissed off with Murta and not like him, but we just hung out the entire day afterwards. He's just
safest dude.
Yeah, he's just such a chill guy, and we just hanging out with his girlfriend, and it was great, So shout out to Murta. And I really like your first round, really, because you say that in the scheme of things, this isn't really your tryout. In the same way, it's not a freestyle if you've got a minute to think about it, because you have battled quite a bit. I've been rated a beast. I'm just here to sign the paperwork. And brain second. he talks about how you're into reading and all this sort of stuff, and he calls PDF an acronym for paedophile, which just
it's not.
No,
it's not, mate.
No, yeah. In his local parts, he opens his arse and goes, they know him as No Holes Barred.
It's all coming back.
Yeah. This is a memorable try. Like Brains, I recall Brains recently battling on a training days event. He battled Conquer B, was it right? And
yes,
he had
indeed.
Really long rounds. He had like an 8-minute round.
It was a 1-round battle,
right?
Because I think Conquer had no-showed a lot of Don't Flop events, and they were just like, "Look, we'll give you a 1-rounder against Brains if you fuck this up." So I think Brains took 1 round to mean 1 rotation of the sun around Jupiter.
An orbit.
And it was long. It was longer than it needed to be. I was there for it live, and when you're standing up towards the end of the day, and you're just sobering up and what have you, it was a long round, and I think Brains would have took that comfortably if he'd edited. But Brains, I think, is one of those guys who feels he has to be famous, and it feels like it's his destiny or whatnot. And I think he just went, I'm going to come with 9 minutes of material. I think he does spit. Somebody timed it out. He does spit double the amount of material that Conquer did. But it's too much. It's you can't do that. Like, not people aren't there to see you. They're there to see the battle.
No, it's true. And Brains' ego kind of continues to filter into the second. He informs the crowd that Tony D is just holding the crown for him, apparently. And then he touches your stomach and slaps you slightly on the cheek like a mob boss, sealing a hit. Like he's quite touchy, isn't he? He's quite tactile.
Yeah, and I mean, fair enough if that's what he wants to do. I didn't consider either of those like a violation per se. No. But then again, I'm not really of that fighty mindset.
And then you're not actually. And then you go into the whole his rent boy past. Which how did you learn about that?
Because he wrote about it. It's in the book. It's all in the book. He sat and he wrote it down. And I haven't read it all, but I've read enough of his book to, like, if you want to see how ridiculous a human being's life can get, read that book,
right?
Because it really happened. Like, that's real life. Like, real life is this fucking ridiculous place where shit happens if you can either let it or make it. And so it's all in there. But again, like, I think I learned then that if you're listening to this and you're thinking about battling, or you're a tryout, or you're just coming up, if you've got a really hard-hitting personal about your opponent, and nobody gives a shit about who they are, don't use it. Because, like, I think no, if you know who Brains is and who he was and what he's done, I won that battle. But if you're just somebody watching that battle and you don't know who he is, my second round was just really badly judged. And I think, I still think I won the first round harder than he won the second, but it was a learning experience, definitely. Yeah,
I've got you winning it, but you don't win it, as you say. You lose it 2-1. Archaic and Mr. 13 give it to Brains. Bowski gives it to you. Sums it up by just saying he thought it was a really, really good battle. And you come back, not too long after against Sleepy G. So in spite of losing the battle, they still wanted you to take more, or were you pestering for more? What was the relationship here?
I wasn't pestering. I was. I said, like, I was talking to Bamalam, actually. Shout out Bamalam again.
Yeah, always.
Fucking soldier for what he does. Really hard worker. He just shut me out and said, look, do you want to join Battle Sleepy G on Set the Standard?
Yeah, it was a great event you were on. That was the Ogmios C Major, Set the Standard 9. Amazing event.
That was a good battle.
Yeah, great C battle.
Major. Yeah. So I had the Sleepy battle. That was good. Shout out Sleepy G.
Kuvu,
yeah,
as he's now known, which is hard to say, by the way, in case you didn't realise. Sleepy.
That's the first time I've ever heard. Is that how it's pronounced?
I'm guessing, because otherwise it's Kexv, which is not quite. It sounds quite grimy, but not quite as catchy. But shout out Sleepy. But we move on to the dark days when Mr. 13 would host battles. This is the.
See, I disagree. Everybody hates on Mr. 13's hosting. Yeah. I think he was different. Like, he's really, like, he's jolly.
No, he was bad.
No, you didn't like it.
I think testament to, like, his just bad technique is the fact that at the end of this battle he interrupts and gets pissed off of him, but rightfully so. He just interrupts him as he's talking. He's like, "Oh, who won the battle? I want to know." It's like, just wait 10 seconds. You've ruined the vibe of the video now. There's just this awkward silence. I don't know. He's kind of like, and I watched a lot of these battles of Raise the Bar tour, and just last week actually I was speaking to Old English in his unanimous battle, and in that battle as well, Mr. 13 forgets to tell us that it's like a 1-round battle, and he just awkwardly pauses and looks at the camera, and Tony D has to jump in and save the day as he's wont to. I don't know. I mean, I appreciate that maybe he has lighter moments, but I've just seen the unluckiness of 13.
Oh, well, there you go.
Buzz.
Oh, I think he's jolly. He's still having fun. It's something. Yeah, I understand. Why people who are used to the organic kind of laconic type of hosting, if that's the right word. But So
Bristol. This is against Agent. It's his hometown.
You're a dwarf to me. If I get grumpy, Dr. Cold right. I know I'm happy to get sleepy from the dopies known to ignite, but now I'm coming at you, Sneezy, you know my poetry's tight. Don't ever act like you're the type to bash fools all for that Snow White.
This is kind of when Don't Flop were doing this tour where they were doing things like 14 dates and they were kind of like 3 battles a day kind of thing. It was kind of brief, kind of good idea to get them around the country. Harry Baker Stowaway was the top battle. So this is your third in Don't Flop. You gained some confidence.
So I was super up for that one, and it was the first battle where. I'd either done it in various places where I had mates that would come with me who I lived nearby, because people just around the country. I'd say, I'm in Wolverhampton, come and watch me, or I'm in Ipswich, fucking where Toucan was, so we hung out there. So that was the first one where I literally just went to a strange city on my own and just walked in the front door and went, just sort of on my own here. So thanks to the people of Bristol, who are a fucking an incredible battle rap crowd, B, fantastic. Welcoming. So just walking around all night, just talking to people, just having a bit of crack with folk.
Not literal crack.
Not actual literal crack.
Sorry.
Don't do crack, kids. But no, I was well up for the Agent battle. I was super well prepped for it. I think my freestyle, my rebuttal game in the Agent battle is as good as it's ever been.
It's sensational. And it's a good battle. This is a really good battle. This is deliver 3 solid rounds that get a big reaction, and like you say, the Bristol crowd are brilliant. I must say, in my notes I emphasise just how decent and respectful this crowd is. Not only are they receptive to bars, but they're quiet and they listen, and there's no kind of drunk leery shouting a la O'Shea Bard, which we'll get onto, but it's a really, really good crowd. And Agent starts it up. Is Agent around anymore? He seemed to kind of be in that era.
Agent battled semi-recently on Battle Royale on 10 Shoes League against, what's his fucking name, Temujin. And he murdered Temujin. Temujin wasn't prepared. So Agent still got it. Agent could step back into battling anytime he wants. I think he has the best flow, one of the best flows in the UK right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
It just grips you in, whatever he's saying. He sells it really nicely.
The flow comes with a cost, though, and that is multis that say nothing, which fills a lot of his first round. I mean, first of all, he's beginning with one of the biggest battle rap cliches ever, opening your first round by turning to the league owner and asking what you've done to deserve your opponent, which happens throughout the world, in many continents. And then he just kind of again, the empty multis, you're not naturally gifted, you're not in sync with my instinct, bars for days, I'll scar the page with infinite imprints for this impotent infant. It's but what does that mean? No, that doesn't stir my pulse. You know what I mean? It's kind of the sound's exciting. He's saying I over and over again, but it's not really going anywhere. I don't mind, you're a student to my cerebellum. Again, a lot of rappers with the multis like to evoke the kind of the primordial cortex and the amygdala, of the brain, and that kind of comes in. He does have a bar that at first I was but then I realised that there's a bar on URL that's very similar to it that I really like, so I kind of have to respect it. And this is at least a year before. He's kind of going in on your kind of drama student nerd angle, and he's saying it's nothing for BARD to load up a 16-bit like a Sega game. Nice. And then he just kind of I don't know, did his Bristol accent seem more put onto you in this battle than other battles? It kind of, there's a pandering maybe.
So Agent's from Bristol, but I don't think he lived in Bristol for a while at that time. And I will say, so part of me turning up and kind of, just turning up and just talking to people, just having some beers, just getting steadily drunk, is that I was actually working the room hard as a motherfucker before the battle. So I think he got up and people were like, oh, it's him, oh, it's that guy I was talking to, that guy who's battling, blah, blah, blah. So I think maybe was there an element of he sensed that kind of he didn't have the same kind of hometown crowd advantage that he necessarily assumed he'd have. But if you watch his Temujin battle, he's not really sounding the same.
No, he's not. And like you say, you come with the great flips, 2 brilliant flips at the start of your first. He like you say, he just said farmer end, so you come with the immediate flip. I'm also from the stick. I'm from the sticks. The 3D shit, but we give shotguns to 10-year-olds. And then you go into another flip. You flip his old drama angle. There's many types of drama I can bring to you, and everything just feels more coherent here. There's continual punches that work. You reveal something that you build on in your second and third rounds, that his real name's Orin, which is an unusual name, and you're like, Orin, you glad I didn't come with those name flips? Lots of flips for Orin. He's just horroring himself out in front of these deploring fans. And then my favourite is I'm in front of this prick like a kilt sporran. That was like just a really creative use of Orin. I just kind of like, when I was first watching that battle, I was like, okay, how's he gonna punch? Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate that. That was your writing style then, Bard, like what is it? You giving Agent on Don't Flop, are you writing all your material, then you're cutting up into rounds, you're going round by round, are you spider diagramming, like?
So, like, how I write hasn't really changed since my tryout. The only thing that's changed is just that I know kind of the patterns to look for and the things to follow. I just sit down and I'll think of a punchline, and then I'll make it rhyme with a few things. I'll tell jokes about the guy, and then okay, so that'll come out, reword it a little bit, and I just sit in front of Notepad, just like watching the other guy's battles, just making notes.
Yep.
And then such an arse backwards way of doing things, and it's not efficient. A lot of time gets wasted sitting thinking, oh, how the fuck can I say that this guy looks like Charlie Sloth?
Yeah.
Oh, I can talk about it. And it's slow, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of getting there, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does, and end with quite a nice newspaper scheme. If you don't get this, you really need to get with the times. But that's none of your news. That's not news, Agent. Which it's fine. Agent Second is lacking a lot of content again with the empty multis. There's one that I like that called my bend time through my enzymes. Which I just kind of liked for the rhyme more than anything. He goes in on your girl as well. He's kind of running out on ideas here. You twist it, bringing back the whole Bristol farmer angle with the flip about the girl, saying that you're just jealous of my girl because yours whinnies when you pull the reins, which gets a really good reaction as well. And then the whole thing really, there's lots and lots of good bars here, which upsets me really, because you lose 3-0.
No, I didn't. I lost the decision.
Yeah.
Listen. Okay, this is probably asking people to care more than they should or ever will.
They're already listening to this, man. They probably do.
Go listen to the end of the very end of the video, the Agent battle, and you'll just hear this little from the crowd. Now that
the boos,
the beginning of just this near riot level boost, because I think there was another decision before that battle. I forget who battled.
There was Toucan versus, I forget who battled, but Toucan battled.
No, was it not Two-Putt?
Oh, maybe it was. Sorry, I think you're right. Yes,
versus Raga Vibes.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
The wrong guy won there as well, and I think the crowd by that point were like, I think because I beat Agent so convincingly.
Oh yeah, we should say Agent chokes as well in his third badly, so it's
he doesn't get his third out,
no.
And I mean, I understand like my delivery isn't necessarily like rapping in that one. I've definitely picked up the pace a lot. Like that news agent line, I think I spoiled a little bit with the pause. It was like, none of that's news. Agent, which I have trained myself out of, because again, that's too theatrical, that's too kind of thing. But I mean, I don't know what the judges preferred or why that decision was made, but it was sorry, it was, I stay salty. I stay especially salty about the that decision, because I definitely won that one.
You definitely did, and there's always a danger of opening up to judging, isn't it, that people are going to get so pissed off. But it's just ridiculous. It's almost as big a robbery as fucking Shocks the Rebel versus Sleepy G. Like, Shocks the Rebel has one of the fucking best opening rounds in Don't Flop for years, and he loses to like 3 mediocre Sleepy rounds. I don't get it. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because you have loads of really, really good rounds. Your third as well, we should just say before we close it out, you have another flip on him choking. You basically say that he's demo battled you. Talk about Tenchu being on one of his tracks and he got paid to get 10 shoes. I mean, I know that's not like a crazy good bar or whatever, but like, it just made me smile. It was just quite creative. He's got a track called 7 Minute Cypher. It feels longer, and that probably gets the biggest reaction of the battle.
Kruger actually came up to me after that battle. He said that was the line that stuck out for him.
Oh shit!
But then I think he would, because it's very much that, like,
it's very his style.
I don't normally do like the dry sarcasm, like, it feels longer kind of thing. So maybe that just jumped out for him. But the one thing I will say about the judging is that is why I will always prefer crowd judging. Is that, like, there's no objective way to judge a fucking rap battle. There's no, unless you're Nameless. Shout out to Nameless, one of the goats. With the 2.0 judging system or whatever he's on now, it is just like, what did you prefer? It's three people's, so it's just somebody's opinion. So I'd rather have like 100, 200 people's opinion than 3 or 5. And also, it gives, people, if they turn up, you're paying a $5 to get in, or 10 or 15, however much it is for that. Then like, you've paid to have an opinion. So give the fucking crowd what they paid for and let them judge it properly.
No, I completely agree. And from this, before we move on to your Max Sherry battle, because this effectively, your Agent battle is your break with Don't Flop. You never come back after this. This is uploaded April 21st, 2014. And since then, you've battled, on other leagues. You battled on Kingdom Ronalds, Product Warfare, Clash Money, Battle Royale, several other leagues there, but never returned to Don't Flop. What was this split? What was this thing that happened? Because, like, I remember I was following Don't Flop avidly at this time as I do now, all the new people coming up, and you were definitely one of the most exciting people that came around in a while. You had that theatrical element to you. You had that kind of reference game mixed with the aggression, mixed with the flips. You were a viable candidate who could have given some brilliant clashes against the Don't Flop roster. I mean, what went sour?
Rowan Fife.
Yeah.
See, my problem with Don't Flop is not special or different. It is the same problem that Most Prob had. It is the same problem that Pamphlet had. It is the same problem that Daylight, Thesaurus, Disaster, the number of names that get alienated because Don't Flop are super difficult to work with. So, I mean, look at again, and Kruger to an extent. Bagnall isn't included in this, but like, they're young lads. They've never had a job before running Don't Flop. Like, they've never worked an honest day in their lives before Don't Flop, and it shows because they just don't know how to communicate with people. So I was actually working with Don't Flop at the time. I was blogging for them.
Yeah.
Don't look for my blogs because they've all been deleted. And just, there's no communication. So I was blogging, like, watching every battle that Don't Flop put out on both channels it takes up a lot of your fucking week, and they put out some tripe from time to time. They put out some of the best battles in the world, but they put out a lot of fucking trash. So it's a large chunk of my week that I spend, like, putting the blogs together for them, and then suddenly they just get deleted. And Callum comes to me and says, "Bro, did you go in the back end of the site and delete your blog?" I was like, "No, why?" And it turns out, like, because I was not promoting those battles with the blogs. I was reviewing them. I was giving an objective, fair analysis of the battles, because otherwise it's fucking meaningless. Like, nobody's going, like, who have you got blogging for at the minute? Like, a lot of content on the Don't Flop site at the minute is just mindless fucking banal promotion, and it's telling telling in the number of people who actually read it. I don't read it anymore because it's just promo. And if I want a promo, I'll watch the fucking battle.
Mm-hmm. They just review the battle as EPs, don't they? But don't offer any constructive criticism.
Yeah, and I think, like, there is a definite space for objective analysis and expert kind of thing, much as we're doing right here. Content supporting the battles. Which is why I think shows like this are so fucking important, especially in the UK where there's not that support. We've got Hulk and Bassi doing Clash of the Day as well.
Yeah, shout out Clash of the Day, definitely.
Different format, but very much still in the same, like, kind of supporting role. So that's super important.
You need to go on that show soon. Like,
I need to holler Bassi and set it up, because still while I'm still fucking semi-relevant. and my
cult legend, man.
Well, and the content that I was producing just started getting deleted, and again, I messaged her saying, like, look, what's going on? Like, no.
Sorry, could you give any examples of battles that you remember reviewing badly?
It was more like, so they did a Grime Clash event, I think, and they put that out on a pay-per-view, and I ventured to say, like, look, I don't think that's necessary. I don't think it's needed. I think it's milking the pay-per-view format a little bit, or words to that effect. And I think so. I never got any feedback from about what was like wrong. Like, if he didn't like the work I was producing for him, talk to me, say, oh yeah, like this, more of this, less of this. If I can communicate like a human being, like an adult, and and I refine my work. Like that's what I do for a living now. Like, and it just, I had to email Sam, who was working for them at the end, before I got a reply, and it was just like, oh yeah, doesn't like the blogs. It's like, well, fucking tell me. And it's just like, again, this is so I understand the whole Disaster thing, where Disaster spat in his face over ostensibly nothing, but really it's just the way he looks at you and the way he just looks at you like, oh, I've got to fucking talk to you. And even on my tryout, I went up to say, hey man, yeah, how's it going? How's the running schedule going? Like, thanks for the opportunity, etc. And he just looks at you like you're some boy off the street. And maybe some rappers who need the exposure for the platform, maybe they need that. Maybe they'll put up with it. But I don't fucking need battle rap. I certainly don't need Don't Flop. Like, I can get battles anytime I fucking want. I'm not doing it for 30,000, 20,000, 15,000 views that they're pulling in now. So they're difficult to work with, and if they give me money, I will go back. But I think that bridge is burnt, and
I think so.
Fuck 'em.
I mean, like you say, who cares? Before you, I would honestly have been a little bit dubious in my kind of sheltered state to be like, oh god, Don't Flop's so important, blah blah. And I love Don't Flop. Don't get me wrong. I think Don't Flop's the greatest, but through you, I've seen evidence of ulterior, the fact that you can just go out there on King of the Ronalds, on Clash Money, etc. People like you, people like Visceral is someone that I really like as well.
Visceral, Mackenzie, Rivers, who's had a couple of battles, but still. Yes.
Give us some people then. Who are some non-Don't Flop affiliates that you really like?
It's those guys. It's Visceral, who's incredible, but again, Visceral just doesn't need to battle. He just needs to put music out. He's incredibly talented dude.
Yeah, he's a brilliant dude.
Mackenzie, who I shouldn't really be speaking highly of because he's now the #1 contender for the KOTR belt.
I need to check this guy out. Yeah, never watch his stuff.
Watch Mackenzie battle.
Yeah.
Watch Mackenzie versus Ben Carlo. Mackenzie versus Hulk. We've got Mackenzie versus Claudio Soprano coming out. He's a fucking monster. He's obviously not quite as good as me, but he's an incredibly talented guy. Not just in battles. I think he makes films as well or something. So he's definitely one to watch for. Rivers, I still would count as a underground, like non-mainstream. Non-mainstream guy. Who else?
Templar Surfer Kid. I don't know if you've seen that guy. He's pretty good as well. Battled Shots on Gift of the Gab, which is another good league as well.
Gift of the Gab, I need to go on. Yeah,
that would be really good. So effectively, the revoking the blogs led to you revoking your allegiance with Don't Flop.
Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much. It was, and then it's not like, oh, you deleted my blogs, blah blah blah. It's the deleting my blogs after no fucking communication with me about how to improve it and move it forward. And just then, when I do all the fucking legwork to try and fix things and kind of get to the bottom of it, just air. You just get a big old slice of that air pie when you're trying to talk to them. And I appreciate they're busy guys, but like, sorry, like that's business. Like, sometimes you have to make time to message people who are working for you to produce content for your website for free. Like, But yeah. So that was the point where
the King of the Ronalds was the natural movement.
Yeah, very much so. I think I did a Get Slated battle between that and
was that with Big Jack?
That was Big Jack, which isn't on anymore. Get Slated.
No.
All the Get Slated battles have been taken down. I think Adamsy had a work situation
right
where they were like, it's either your job or your YouTube channel.
Jeez. Why? I don't. What's wrong with a couple of battles in your name? Well, that's just ridiculous.
Depends on the job. If he works with kids or he works in for the government or whatever.
Yeah, I suppose so. So we'll jump forward 18 months effectively to your Max Sherry battle on Poetic Warfare, which is a battle of yours that I really, really enjoyed. Unfortunately, the meme, Max Sherry, kind of...
What's Asheroth compared to Sephiroth in a Gundam war? It's fine, all fantasy, that's the shit they're lusting for. He'll be with the cloud up where the air is soon as I bust a sword.
struggles his way through this, chokes his first two pretty badly. Danny Jack is there, introducing you.
Another member of Team 13, yeah?
Yeah. Callum's in the background there as well, and Deep Throat Thug as well. And unfortunately, all of this footage and other battles that I've watched from this event as well seem to be marred with the fact that there's like club music playing very loudly in the background.
Yeah, so the first couple of battles off that card were like nice and clear and of good audio visual quality, but yeah, that's what happens. Like sometimes the venue fucks up, sometimes you've got exterior influences on the quality of the stuff. But yeah, the Max Sherry battle came about. Like I wanted to go on Poetic Warfare because I saw I like the look of the platform, and I would say Poetic Warfare in terms of running an event like King of the Ronalds, obviously like dearest and closest to my heart.
Yeah.
I love that anarchic, like anything can happen, like crazy vibe. But if you want to just turn up and do a gig and have everything run like as professionally as you could ever ask for, do a Poetic Warfare show, because they run such a tight fucking ship. Like they met us off the train, said, "Look, your hotel's there, the venues like that way directions." So I'm really glad I went on there, and
wow.
I hit Ben up and I said, "Yeah, can I get a Poetic Warfare battle?" And he said, "Yeah, and we won't hook you up with just any old tryout. We've got someone special for you." And then he gave me a name, which, out of respect for the dude, I'm not gonna say. But I was just like, oh, I'm not really gonna get much out of battling that guy.
Was it 142?
No, it wasn't 142. Okay. Actually, it wasn't 142.
Right. I just got my old don't flop grudge. Sorry, go on.
And yeah, I said, and it was just a case of like I wouldn't be inspired enough to do a good show for you if I battle him. So I was kind of on the spot, because if I shut something down, I've got to then present an alternative to be positive and move shit forward. And at the time, I think Max Sherry was at the height of his Naruto like underdog thing. And so I went, what about Max Sherry? I could battle Max Sherry. And so we got that set up instead.
You start by, it's really funny beginning. You start by sizing up his collar, basically grabbing his collar, harking back to the fact that Pedro had ripped his shirt, I believe, on King of the Ronalds.
2 weeks beforehand, yeah, like something stupid like that. So yeah, then I launched it the whole, you let Pedro rip your shirt. Don't do that, mate.
Yeah, and your performance here is one of my favourites, actually. You just, even though it's quite a small room, you seem to give this whole bombastic, full-throated performance there. You're flying around, you're talking about fucking his little sister, and then you just have this, I mean, you were talking earlier about the whole pause on NewsAsia, but the pause, the lacuna, as it were, works really well here. So I pulled it out, I gave it a minute, and then I stuck it back in like I fixed the internet, and like that's a haymaker. Like, it's fantastic, both in its simplicity of like the digital mechanics and also just the kind of gruffness of the delivery. And then you kind of break down Mac in one bar. You say he gets sympathy exposure that is not endorsement.
Yeah,
which is hits pretty hard.
When I wrote that punch like that, you get sympathy exposure that is not endorsement. So in the trap you can die. No saw from the long neck. That's a brontosaurus. Yeah. When I wrote that, I actually came in my pants. I did ejaculate. Yeah, I think the Max Sherry battle is when everything kind of clicked.
Yeah.
And I think like that was when I was like, oh yeah, that's how I should do it. Because before that I was still half trying to rap and half trying to perform and half trying to write and half trying to blah blah blah. And that was the moment where I was just like, no, fucking be the Phantom of the Opera, talk about swords, just scream and jump around and be the heel. Like then there needs to be a bad guy. And yeah,
that is so true. And you say you give a fuck if I rap like a villain in a pantomime, and then you open it up to Callum. You ask him what rhymes with Liv Winter. Set it up and we'll find out, which is a great ending. You and Liv, I want to see that. I don't think that'll ever happen. But
Liv's not on it. Liv's not battling anymore.
I know. She
Liv doesn't. Why does Liv Winter need a battle? Liv is killing it with poetry. Liv's like huge on like organizing activism and whatnot. Like Liv Winter has more fucking important things to do than stand in pubs with sweaty men and get called a dyke again and again and again and again. Shout out Liv Winter for the incredible work rate she does and the ethos behind why she's doing it. Like she doesn't need to battle me.
Right, yeah. And if you want to hear a breakdown, listen to our Crafty episode. It's the second episode. We go deep on the Live Winter Crafty battle. Check that one out. Mac, I really like Mac Sherry as a person. I've met him, and he's a really kind, sweet guy, and we had a good chat. He's very friendly, and he does have a likeable persona in the ring as well. I just wish he came a little bit more prepared here, because he basically talks about your eyeballs being too small for your face, and then he just stops. He just can't get his bars out, and it's... How do you feel when someone's choking on you like this? Are you disappointed for the battle's sake, for your opponent's sake?
So it depends who's doing it. If O'Shea had choked all 3 rounds, if Pedro had choked all 3 rounds, I'd be gutted. It's like Low Pesci. Like, the people pay to see a Max Sherry fuckery. Like, that's the show. That's his shtick. They pay to see him do something, and he's fixed it now. Like, I think they're trying to build Blitz as the new Max Sherry, because Mac's actually quite good now, and he learned the fucking hard way how to be good. Yeah, when Mac was doing it, I was just like, oh, don't choke all 3 rounds.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel really kind of upset about it, because again, that's what Mac does. And I got 3 clean rounds out, and he got 3 clean bars out, and between us we made the battle that everybody expected and wanted to.
And was there any begrudgment on KOTR's effect, because 2 of its big stars are battling on another platform? Or
I wasn't in the King of the Ronalds title picture at that time.
Right, okay.
I think now they're kind of annoyed that it went down on another league, because they would have liked to have done it for the title.
Yeah.
But I mean, I couldn't have, told the future.
Sure. Your second round is fucking fantastic. It's what gets commented most on YouTube. Quickly, YouTube comments, by the way. I mean, quite a few people on here have openly said that they like them. Battlers read them all the time. Are you want to delve in?
I read the shit out of them, yeah.
Of course.
You've got to appreciate the medium. Like, YouTube comments are the toilet wall of the internet.
Yeah,
it's just people's the complete sense of anonymity. So I read them, and because I am a battle rapper, that means I am a narcissist, and I am weird. I travel around the country listening to people talk about how terrible I am. So it's kind of nothing to read a YouTube comment about it and just say, oh, well, thanks for the view, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. But they're mostly positive, especially in this battle forwards. The reception's been great, and I love this fucking round, man. I think this round is dynamite.
Was it sword bars?
Yeah. Sword bars. No gimmicks. That blade so big that if it's swung, it clips the sun. I've got a sword so big that shit won't fit in my inventory. Is terrific. Most prob, and on one of my most recent episodes, I said that bar to him, and he applauded you.
Oh, Bard.
Yes. Did Bard say that? And I bet you could name all 151 Digimon, and then into a real dope Final Fantasy VII scheme. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan myself. You even go into the limit breaks with the Buster Sword reference. It was deep.
I mean, yeah. Again, like
I know. To you, that's bread and butter, but it was good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's I was satisfied with that second round just because it was so like, fuck it. This is like, I'm gonna just talk about what I want to talk about for a change.
And can we just,
rather than...
Sorry, can we just... how nerdy are you?
My name is Bard.
Right. But that could just mean you're into poetry, or...
No, it's a class, a Dungeons and Dragons class. I play a shitload of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, fair enough.
Play a shitload of fucking online role-playing games and whatnot. Yeah, it's not all screaming, cool, and it's not all screaming and fighting in alleyways and whatnot.
No. I mean, yeah, I'm not putting you down for it at all. Like, it's just
no, at all. Just a question. And I think a lot of battlers who maybe wouldn't appreciate it if I named them have mentioned to me how much they appreciate the video game shit and the nerd shit and the sword shit and what have you.
Yeah, it's dope. It's exciting to listen to, and it gets people fired up. Like, it's great. And Mac, you were talking about how people pay the money to see Mac break down, and he does have something quite funny at the start of the second, saying he choked in the first for nostalgic purposes, and then unfortunately he chokes again, and. Yeah, and then you spend your third going in on Don't Flop, going in on, crawling back, in terms of kind of through the conduit of Mac, how he crawled back to J. Cruz on a free event sort of thing, asking why Bard's fist's getting bigger, and then it hit him. And then Mac, thankfully, doesn't choke his final round, but he goes on Rachel Black, who she battled on Don't Flop, right, against Dank Schrader. Yeah, she's battled around, and then Matt goes in on her, and yeah, Matt doesn't really bring anything to this battle, but thankfully your 3 rounds are, really exciting to listen to, and I get the feeling that you're the sort of person who will go to the lower leagues and doesn't give a fuck about views. You're just here for the culture. You'll just battle in anything.
Yeah, I mean, if it ever translates to money, then yeah. But I'm sorry, like if you're trying to make money out of battle rap right now, that ship has sailed. It is the dream is over. Like battle because you enjoy it. Battle because you like doing the events. Like I battle for the live crowd. I battle for people. Like people say I lose on camera a lot, but win in the room. It's like, well, yeah, because I give a fuck about the people in the room.
Yeah.
Like the people who have left their houses and put a coat on and actually come to see me do a gig. I will always have, and I'm thankful for people who like maybe can't make it to events or, God forbid, even watch me from overseas or whatnot. I understand why people can't, but like I will always kind of give the lion's share of my performance to the people that are in the room and what have you. So yeah, I mean, views are, it's nice to be able to say like, oh, I've got, I think it's 20,000 on Agent now and the Sleepy Battle and what have you.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's of a secondary concern to like doing the show.
You just on your Verse Tracker now. You currently on Verse Tracker. I should say, by the way, the guy who runs Verse Tracker, Ryan, is going to be on the show in a few weeks, so that's going to be really exciting. But on Verse Tracker, you currently have 70 battles catalogued. Your Murta battle isn't on here, so maybe they've missed out a few early battles. But yeah, 17 it says, yeah.
Oh, I've done at least 25. So.
Oh, okay, interesting, yeah. So total of those are 71,000. They seem to be your most recent view. So it's a definitely decent total.
Okay.
And we skip forward a few battles. These are your battles kind of on the way to the crown and stuff like that. This is your battle against Pedro.
How the fuck do you beat Pedro? I mean, what's your big secret? These people want to see the Grim Reaper versus the Crypt Keeper up in his face with a fist speak, and I will sleep until Easter. But then I realised you never lose, but you never fucking win either.
Pedro, who is a chaotic force, in battle rap, the Omar of the Wire of battle rap. He seems to play by no rules and just seems to operate as this kind of like this maelstrom of multis. And we see it. We see the good and bad of Pedro, and it seems like we see the bad of Pedro when he's not on Don't Flop. For some reason, Don't Flop seems to tame him a little bit. I don't really know what it is, but he doesn't seem to act up, although perhaps the Uno Levos battle at 7th birthday is kind of contrary to that. And the Crisis battle, he wasn't great in, actually. Maybe he kind of like peaked after the O'Shea battle, had a good year, and then kind of just went back to being Pedro, I don't know. But obviously his affiliation to Mickey, he's kind of the wild card for King of the Ronalds, right? Because they can kind of call him on for battles and people like him. He's done the Tony D battle as well. He is a good addition to the roster.
Yeah, he was. I think the Pedro bubbles burst. I think there was a time when people had the it's the surrealist, he's just rhyming words kind of thing.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I think he was bad against Uno Lavos. He was like Crisis bodied him. Crisis ruined him, and it just I think maybe Pedro should chill out and have a break for a while, because it kind of looked a little bit like borderline nervous breakdown during the Crisis battle. Dude does a lot of cocaine, and dude doesn't chill and what have you. I'll go on record saying I was never a huge fan, but I appreciated him being given to me as it was a big name.
Yeah, I mean, huge name. And the battle starts out with, as King of the Ronalds does, we have no intros, we have no Twitters. We have just Hulk saying his hands are wet. You're all outside. What happened? You couldn't finish the battle inside? You wanted it to be outside, or?
We got kicked out. The event overran because battle rap, and we had to go out into the cursed alleyway where Max Sherry got his shirt ripped. Wow. And where, as we're about probably to discuss, other shit goes down.
Mickey kind of, I mean, someone's really screaming loud as well. I'm not quite sure who that is.
Is it a female voice?
It's a female voice, yeah.
That's Screppo. Screppo is the queen.
Screppo? Who's Screppo?
Screppo is a battle rapper enthusiast from Norway.
Right.
She came all the way from Norway to She's been to 2 King of the Ronalds events.
She came from Norway.
She doesn't go to Don't Flop. She's come from Norway to 2 King of the Ronalds events on 2 separate occasions.
That's fantastic.
She's fucking soldier, man. Yeah, shout out to Scrapper every time, and
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, actually. Yeah, she's allowed to scream then, for coming that far, for sure. Mickey speaks long form, talks about Gaddafi being a G, apparently. Pedro's introduced. Hulk introduces you. It's quite funny, actually. He compares you to kind of like, those little games on Facebook you play, those little fucking goblin cunts that you pretend to be. He's the real version, which is, quite nice. And it just pans to you. I mean, kind of like one of the things that I like King of the Ronalds. I like the ethos. I like the roster. I especially like the mood, the ramshackle nature of the thing. I like that you battle on it as well. That can kind of center me. What I don't like is the lack of multi-camera setups. It's frustrating, but I think in the Pedro battle it does work because there's only one camera. So when the camera pans to the left and we finally get to see you, you're rocking the belt, and it looks pretty badass.
The belt was a wise investment, I think. Yeah. I think it was necessary because, again, like by that point, I was just like, well, fuck it. Yeah, I'm a pantomime rapper, so let's have some props. Let's have some costume. Let's have some let's have some fucking bling. So I went out and got a cheapy plastic wrestling belt, and there you go.
No, it looks good. And just before we dig into the bars of this battle, the King of the Ronalds title then, so you are the current champ, the inaugural champ. How did the kind of tournament come about? Was it just a kind of obvious thing to get views, get interest?
So the original, obviously, the history of the King of the Ronalds title, Hulk won it against Big J, I think, either the first or second King of the Ronalds event.
That's right, yeah.
And then, okay, Hulk's the champ. Yeah, of course, Hulk is champ material. He's dope as fuck.
Yeah.
And then they had Uno Lavos over, and then for some reason, like they did that, like I don't think they made the best use of Uno Lavos when he was over at all. They battled in some underpass in front of like half a dozen people,
right? And
suddenly, the title was on the line, and Uno Lavos won. And like, well, how many fucking title defenses a year are you going to get out of Uno fucking Lavos? Like, I don't think the title was taken seriously then. So then Uno Lavos wins, flounces off to America, and I guess vacates the belt. So then, and then a while later, they were just like, okay, well, who else have we got that's good? And then JB versus Technico was declared in the whole battle, the event where I battled Bowski. That was declared on the night to be a title match. And JB won, and then I think so the JB situation, JB went to do a Don't Flop battle, I think near to or on the same date as he was meant to battle for King of the Ronalds or whatever. Or basically, he went, fair enough. He said, look, I'm going to get more exposure from Don't Flop. I would prefer to have them as my primary league. How's that worked out for you, Jay? How's that worked out for you?
Yeah, he's vanished, hasn't he?
And he, so again, the belt wasn't taken super seriously and was vacated. Like that, it sucks because I mean, I think Mickey overreacted to JB, like maybe not battling as often as he would have liked, because it means we'll never get to see JB versus Crescendo, which is an incredible battle, and B, a hell of an exposure moment. Rest in peace, Crescendo. So we maybe won't go into that.
So he doesn't battle anymore.
No, not after that. Not after what JB said to him. But the two champions before that hadn't really kind of taken it seriously as seriously as you can take anything in battle rap. So then there was that tournament announced where there was a few names were in and they were dropped out, and I was actually a late addition to that because I was blogging for King of the Ronalds as well, and it wasn't a great look to have, I guess, staff thingy. But then I was just like, look, like I'd rather just battle. Like I don't want to be a battle blogger / battler. I just I do other writing stuff for money. Like I wanted to have my hobby. So then I got put in the title picture. It was meant to be a 2-round tournament. 142 again. Went to do a Don't Flop battle instead. Fell out with Mickey, so that was cut. And then it was Deafening versus Visceral as the semi-final. I got put straight through at the final, and then shout out Visceral, who battled Deafening, and then me on the trot back to back.
Oh shit!
It was incredible. Like Visceral, he battled Kendrick Lamar. Did you see?
Yeah, I saw that. I actually know Visceral because when I lived in Manchester, I used to go to a lot of the spoken word nights, and we used to go to the same night and perform. Evidently, and he performed some fantastic stuff. Look up Martin Visceral, Evidently, if you want to see. He does this brilliant poem. I forget its name now, but it's basically a whole Chiller Jones scheme about weather. But it's really well done, very very well done. But yeah, though that Kendrick Lamar thing was fucking blew my mind. I couldn't believe that. But yeah, no, shout out Visceral. We're gonna have him on the show soon. He's a brilliant rapper.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, he can hang around battling as long as he wants. He's just got the talent. He's got the skill to put it together.
He's got class, hasn't he? He's just got a bit of he oozes it.
And you know what? He's just a thoroughly nice dude.
Yeah, he's like a good guy.
I beat Visceral. Maybe not in the most difficult circumstances, considering he just comes straight off a semi-final battle. But whatever happened, it happens. I wasn't responsible or connected to 142 dropping out, so it just had to kind of go ahead. Mm-hmm. I think Mickey was keen to kind of legitimize the belt after that. Now that they had a champion that was definitely going to stick around. That led to me being given Pedro.
Yeah, and just before the battle starts, to determine who goes first, you're going to do rock, paper, scissors. But Pedro doesn't know how to do rock, paper, scissors, apparently.
It's like rock, shit,
yeah. I mean, but you can teach anyone in any language it in 5 seconds. Like, I don't know how he hasn't learned that. But
apparently we only had 3 seconds, and he's a busy man. He's got
yeah. And I love the way you start your first. You just sort of say openly, "How the fuck do you beat Pedro?" Which is completely true. Like the sort of exasperation in your voice is well felt. You say that he never loses, but he never wins either. You dig into his very disappointing, and I'm completely with you on this one. His very disappointing Saurus battle, in which Pedro just did. It's like the DNA battle at 7th birthday. Did you see that one where Pedro just keeps saying, "Well, your mum," and it's like, where is this guy from the O'Shea clashes gone? Like, where is this imagination gone? He's just repeating the same thing over and over again.
Oversaturation. It's simple as that. Like, I mean, because Pedro doesn't write for battles. He's a fantastic freestyler, but I mean, when you're turning up to get, and I mean, you mentioned before why he's a little bit, he's a little bit calmer on Don't Flop, because he knows where his bread's buttered. He knows he maybe gets a little bit of money, a little bit of moolah for there, and he knows he can't fuck that up by going full Pedro. So, I mean, but he'll keep doing the battles, and it's just overexposure, and I think he just wound himself too tight, and just he's not capable of like the freshness that we saw versus O'Shea and what have you.
Yeah, no, completely, and it's just, again, you can't just say the rhyme. You can't just say words that rhyme, bro. He's only good for one hit, like the Monster Mash, and Pedro comes in, and Pedro's first is, he comes with some rhymes that aren't bad actually. Play Yu-Gi-Oh! The 2-year-old. I quite liked. I'll unzip your top. BARD wants to
BARD.
That's good. That was very good, and you can almost hear people in the crowd laughing, like, "Fuck, this is vintage Pedro." Like, fuck, and then it's not really. Says that your mom's under cement. The first contact, he zips up your top, you zip it down. He's combative,
Yeah, So that's the thing. Like, people talk about me trying to play the bully in that battle, and he's not fucking start zipping my top and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, all right. So that to me is the green light to get to use the physicality.
Yeah, give and give, man. And I think on Clash of the Day recently, Pedro was on it, and like he revealed that Hulk told him that like you were going to be a bit bullshit, or you were a bit of a bully or something, to kind of almost goad him into his competitive sense.
Yeah, I've seen what he said on Clash of the Day.
Yeah.
There is that. There is an extra little bit to this story that nobody has actually heard before. Go. So on a Battle Rap Resume exclusive. At the very start of that event, when I turned up, stood having a party with Mickey, and while everyone files in, and he just looks at me, he says, "You know what has to happen, right?" And I went, "Oh, mate, yeah, I've kind of, I've gone with the moral high ground on this one. Like, first round, I break down his style. Second, the second 2 rounds, I'm just going to clown on him. I'm just, trying to have a good battle." And he just looks at me and goes, "No, man, that's the wrong decision." And I'm like, really? You think so? He's like, yeah, you know what has to happen. And I'm just like, all right, well, we'll see. So, not like, I think people weren't as surprised or upset as they maybe would have liked to appear when things went the way they did.
Is that what you want battling to be, though?
No.
Yeah.
It's not what I want battling to be. It's what we want King of the Ronalds to be.
Right. It's glorified Fight Club.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like, and I mean, maybe you can't force that, but if it happens at King of the Ronalds. So that's why you have to fucking come out and pay your money, come to a King of the Ronalds show, because you never know, you never know what you might see. And, you never know what you might see off camera that maybe doesn't make it into the final video.
So I'm guessing there are some ridiculous moments that you cannot share here.
In what respect?
Well, just in the sense that kind of ridiculous, too hot for TV, as it were, King of the Ronalds moments.
No. I mean, most, to be honest, most of it either makes it onto camera or makes it onto the forums. Like, right. I mean, Hulk punching Relapse when Relapse asks him for money, like that's floated around. That gets talked about. Yeah.
Didn't know.
Yeah, Relapse caught the Wallabang.
Damn, but Hulk looks like he could really do damage as well.
I wouldn't want that fade with Hulk. You know what I mean?
Like, you get that Bruce Banner.
Yeah. So my second with Pedro, like I shit the bed. Like I don't choke often.
Yeah, it's weird to see you choking.
And you know what I'd done? Me and Lazy Ass Jack, I'd done a full clean run through of all 3 rounds just before the battle. So I do not know what happened. So kind of. Shot the bed, and I just killed out a big old stinker in the second. I can't make excuses for that.
The second, Pedro wants you to go on, and Mickey actually kind of cuts you off. Pedro starts to rebuttal your choke, coming with Fabian Barthez, which any eagle-eye Pedro fans know that he said that against O'Shea, but it's all good. It's King of the Ronalds. Pedro doesn't say a lot here, really. Be it your mum's Jamaican yard, gets a lot of laughs because it's random. But it doesn't. He kind of. It's nice at the start when he's talking about how you need to get your whole round out, or you and Mickey are going to fall out, sort of stuff. He wraps it up not badly, and then you go back into your third, and I mean, talk us through what happens here. Mo.
So the second round, I shit the bed in, like badly, and I accept that. So I'm thinking, all right, okay. Mind flashes back to what Mickey said, like what has to, like fucking use the force, Luke. Like like Mickey's fucking spectre hanging over the shadow of the back of the battle, going, what has to happen, G. So I get to the critical moment, and I was always going to use the physicality in that third round because the whole structure of it was the first 2 rounds was just bars, and then the third round I was going to be like, fuck Pedro, I'm ascending where the lions dwell. I've got a sword so big I hang the fucker on Orion's belt, which. We'll hear about later. Yeah. And so I think, well, fuck it. Okay, we're here. Like, I'm thinking of it like in my mind. It's like, is this like a wrestling heel moment where the bad guy knows he's going to lose, so he invites the disqualification? Well, let's find out. Knock his hat off. Again, I've been given the green light for the physicality when he starts unzipping my hoodie and whatnot. Yeah. So there you go. And then I continue rapping, and then like this fly buzzes past my ear, and I'm just keeping rapping, and then wait a minute, what did you just? Oh, you fucker! He hit me, but like it wasn't. I don't know whether
weird, your head takes the full blunt of it. Yeah,
I don't know whether he's just a pussy who can't punch, or whether it was a bad punch, or whether like my head is like adamantium and it was just replaced at birth, and I don't know, but like it. It was clearly a punch and it clearly connected, but like I barely felt it, man. And
he's quite a small guy. You're quite a big guy. It's
Yeah, it's not the size of the fire and the dog in the fire. It's the size of the fire and the dog.
Yeah.
And it's like in that moment, like people start like going, oh, and I'm thinking like, well, fuck, like, so what do I do now? Because like if I paint the alleyway with this dude, like. What's going to happen? Because, like, I mean, if a child punches you, like, you don't put your hand through that child. No. It's the similar principle. It's a case of being threatened. Like, there was no threat there for me to respond to it. Like, the fight or flight instinct kicks in when there's a threat. And I'm just like, oh, well, shit.
Yeah, you do seem quite calm, but then you seem to kind of rush towards him. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a guy punching you in the head. Like I know a child, whatever, but you're still being attacked. fucked. I mean,
yeah, and so, and I'm thinking, well, all right, well, fuck you then. Like my, you know, my initial kind of like response is like, all right, well, fuck you then. Okay, so I start walking towards him. You know, Tim jumps in to get in the way and what have you, and then you know, it all kicks off, and he's just mouthed it off, like, I will dop you, blood. I will do anything, blood. I will knock you, blood. I'm then, all right, well, fuck your shit then.
Yeah. So what happens? Because then the video ends.
At this point, the camera cuts off.
Yeah.
There was a second altercation off camera where he swings, and it's a clumsy ass swing as well. And I didn't know at the time, but he'd actually bust his hand on the side of my head. Yeah, you look at his photo, and his hand's like a fucking Galia melon. And so he throws it again. Again, you know, it's a game right hand he's got. So he throws that same punch again. And I kind of sort of, you know, move out of the way of it doesn't catch me. And then I've just kind of got him by the back of the neck, and I'm just holding him down, like fucking, you know, is this what you want? Are we doing this? And then the adrenaline's kind of gone because you're standing over this 3 foot tall guy, and you're thinking like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I'm fighting with rappers in alleyways. And 20 minutes later, we're in the pub having a pint together. It's all sorted. It's, you know, I got my ear tickled, and I got an extra 3,000 views.
Yeah. No, it's
a bit of an anticlimax, but you know, that's King of the Ronalds.
It's a crazy moment. I remember seeing about it on the. We should say as well, King of the Ronalds has a kind of its own viewpoint, doesn't it? Back your talk.
Back your talk. Join, please. You don't get blocked for no reason whatsoever in Back Your Talk. Like, you know, so long as you can back your talk.
Yeah. No. Shout out Back Your Talk always, and. Yeah, I just remember, I think after the event, I was just curious to what actually went down. So I was looking for some sort of recap, and someone was just talking about how Pedro had punched Bard, and it was just like, I can't wait to see this. I think they got it out quite quick, actually. Credit to them. So we move on to another one of your clashes. This is a really, really good battle, actually. Again on Poetic Warfare, returning for their first birthday battle, Purple, I think it was called. And this is against another also ran of Don't Flop, Conquer B.
Where have you been, dude? No showing when the people they've been yearning. Yo, you been chilling out with Jeff Price and the sticks, keeping the split burning? No. I heard he'd been virgin on Disturbed since his kid's birth and let the drink turn into sick vermin. But you aren't the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or even the sixth person to have a kid while he's still whirling now every month. For 18 years he let some bitch jerking for his earnings like Dick Turpin. I said, as soon as Labour finished, that bitch became the boss like he's Nick Sturgeon.
Who is, decent. We spoke about his Crafty battle in the second episode, and he commented on the YouTube channel actually saying that he appreciated the battle and looking to get him on soon. Really like him. I think he seems like a really good guy as well as being a really good writer.
Conker's a really good guy, and I mean, me and Conker wanted to battle each other since his debut, really, because I really like what he does. I like the way he does it, just the creativity, and I talk in that battle about how he's very similar to like your Crafty, CJ Shorts, that kind of mold. But I don't know. I think there's something about the way Conker does it that is just more Conkerish.
Yes, I agree. He has this kind of ease. He has this comfortable matey nature to him, but he'll still bring out a great punch. And
incredible rapper as well, like a rapper.
Right. Okay, I don't think I've heard much of his stuff actually. I have to check that out. And this, I mean, what do you recall of this event? This Poetic Warfare birthday event. This was you were always gonna. Do you see yourself as kind of don't flop over the birthday? Are you going to return to Poetic Warfare in the future?
Shit, yeah. I'm in line for the Poetic Warfare title. I'm in.
You're going to unify the belt.
Nobody else in the history of the sport
I'd love to see you versus Soul. I know it's never going to happen, but I'd love to see it.
Soul's battled on King of the Ronalds.
He has, actually. That's true.
He's been booked to battle twice, I think, but he has battled. He battled again. Cracker,
yeah.
That day, Cracker got uppercutted by Bombshell. Just caught that fucking savage hook and just. When in Mortal Kombat where you uppercut somebody, the guy comes toasty, and they're like jumping up and they land on the upper level.
Yeah,
that happened when Bombshell punched Cracker.
Bombshell punched Cracker.
Yeah, just a straight right. Because if you watch,
we should just say before in this battle, Soul versus Cracker, Cracker's like really horribly nasty to Bombshell, calling her out and stuff, and
it's weird. Like Cracker's weird with girls at the best of times, but like when you're yeah, so he'd been mouthing off at her on Facebook like a little bit that week, and she was like, "Okay, well, I mean, it's Facebook, whatever."
Yeah.
And then he just comes at the start of the soul battle with these savage, nasty, and I'm like,
nice.
"All right,
not
yeah,
nice.
it's battle rap, yeah, but like, if you're gonna talk shit about somebody, like, be prepared to battle them." And Cracker would never battle Bombshell. So why are you talking all this? Why are you saying this? So Bombshell texts me during the battle, says, "I'm gonna come and say something to him. I'm going to say something to him." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, like, maybe you should, because he's being a dick. He's being weirder than he is with most women. And so after the battle, obviously there were, extenuating circumstances. Cracker had some bad family news, and so again, like, fair play to him for turning up and doing the battle. But like, mouthing off a Bombshell like that afterwards, like, she just marches up to him and just like this Hadouken. This fucking, like,
Mike P shit.
This tiger uppercut just sends him flying into the bar, like the savagest.
That's crazy.
It is the hardest punch from a woman that I've ever seen that I haven't paid to have performed on me.
Right.
It's like, so that happened.
Wow.
But the Conquer B battle were the Poetic Warfare Purple, their first birthday. Again, just a really nice venue, a really nicely ran event, a great card. We had Innuendo on there. We had Lex being man of the event, doing 2 battles.
Yeah.
Lex is incredible. Lex is really good. I think has Lex only had 1 Don't Flop battle?
No, he's had a few. He tried out against, I can't remember who he tried out. He tried out the same event as me, and then he battled Yorks, and then he battled Ambi.
Ambi, there's a fucking someone a bit different who's doing that thing.
Yeah. No,
Ambi's
shouts to Ambi. Kind of Bobby Rex kind of shut him down a little bit, but I think Ambi will be back. Ambi's a good battler.
He'll be back, but then again, I mean, like, Bobby Rex is kind of that dude in Don't Flop right now. I think he's got enough of the comedy to appeal to the O'Shea crowd, but he's also got, that edge, that like, don't push it too far. Maybe even taking it back to like the censor kind of days where Bobby could get disrespectful. I would like to battle Bobby Rex, but again,
he's on Don't Flop's team, man.
He's on Don't Flop, and his boss can't afford me. So but no, Purple was good. Purple was great. Purple was a great event.
Good. And just before we jump into battle, anyone else coming up that you really like a Bobby Rex style figure that you rate, that would like to battle?
I'm sure someone will occur to me.
Yeah. No, sorry, putting you on the spot there a little bit, but
no, I mean, out of like the current kind of crop, I mean, to be honest, right now I'm kind of focused on stuff that's going to either be a big battle, like, for me, or something that's going to help me towards that Poetic Warfare title, because to my knowledge, nobody in the history of battle rap has been a double league champion at the same time.
It's huge. Now. Yeah, it's very cool.
So if I can hold on to the Ronalds belt and then pick up that Poetic Warfare one, something to do.
Yeah. Then you go for the Worlds of Weapons crown, and just show Future it's done.
Oh, I would shut it down in a grime clash.
That would be dope. So we get into this battle. But Conquered speaks about your false aggression, Mask's so strong it could give magic to bandicoots. He comes with some nice stuff here, really. You ain't a king that's posed for war. I've seen you shout and move to crowds of 2 for a faction of 1,000 views, and you still act like an overlord. Why exactly, I don't know for sure. I don't turn up to most of my battles, but fans don't turn up to most of yours. And Conquer's just got that nice pen. In the second round, he calls himself Kylo Ren with a biro pen, which I love. I think that's great, and that gets a very expected, calls you a skinhead version of Hagrid.
I'll take that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Goes in on your pout, which I've never really noticed your pout, to be honest.
My pout?
Your pout, yeah. He says that you pout to the camera after bars.
Okay.
Saying that you look like Kung Fu Panda fuck Zoolander.
That's good.
That is a good bar, but I don't really get it. So
I suspect it's like anyone can be ugly, anyone can have a fat mum. I suspect maybe he put that setup in there just so he can use Kung Fu Panda fuck Zoolander because that's a nice multi.
Yeah, that is a nice multi. You begin with Act 1, Scene 1, and again, like, you have this good gift for kind of doing your kind of knowing audience bars, like how do you beat Pedro? And what up, Jay Shorter? which is just really funny. Crafty minus again is nice, but I really like the Jay Shorter again. So simple. Everyone knows what you're going for here. I'm not trying to make it out as any sort of incredible bar or whatever. Have Jay Short and Conker B battled? I think Crafty and Conker B have battled.
Crafty battle.
I don't think
Jay Short wants a lot of money to battle, and I'm not sure people want to pay it. Like, I think
Is that
Jay
right?
Short wants £150 to battle. So I hear that's word on the grapevine. That's not me airing out anybody's business, because that's common enough knowledge to have got to me. So if I hear it, I don't involve myself at all with the business and the booking side. So if I know it, then that's common knowledge flying around. It could be false, and I apologise to Jay Short if that's not the case.
Yeah, no.
But bruh, if you're asking for £150 for a battle, like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, just in the wider scheme of things, in terms of payment, I mean, I think most battle fans find that really interesting, and like it makes sense to me that like Eclipse would be paid to come over to Don't Flop, or even a Soul or an Ogmios or someone who's really top tier. And no offense to Jay Short, I really like Jay Short. I actually watched Jay Short versus Yunnan live in the park, which is actually quite a good freestyle battle where they edited Yunnan like a minute of Yunnan's chokeout. But I just £150, that just seems a little steep for someone like Jay Short. I don't know.
And I will say, in fairness to it, just because I'm not I am a Jay Short fan.
Yeah, me too.
I go out of my way to watch his battles. I think dude is the total package. I think he's got an incredible like writing ability, like top tier freestoler in the UK. Incredible freestyle ability, and good presence. He's got the look. He's a good battler. He ain't £150 worth of good battler though.
Yeah. Who is?
Who is? Me?
Yeah.
Me? No, I mean your Yunnans,
right? That sort of level, yeah.
I think.
Is that the going rate? Do you know what the going rate is like for a battle? Will Yunnan be paid around £150-200 for a battle? Yunnan
might get a little bit more than that, right. But he's Yunnan. I want to battle Yunnan. Like Yunnan, I think is like my final boss. Like when Yunnan battle Disaster, like if I battle Yunnan, it's the same chain.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you. That's the thing, though. I think what makes you a really compelling person to watch as a battler is like the idea of you teamed with other people, the idea of you battling Soul works, but again, the idea of you battling Yunnan works, the idea of you battling Pamphlet works, and I'm really looking forward to watching that as well. So yeah, you begin with say Act 1, Scene 1, what up Jay Shorter. We'll see Danny Jack with his biscuit before we see this ginger snap. Shouts to Danny Jack in the front of the crowd. Huge performance levels, like that's what I really like about your battles. Even if I'm maybe not vibing with the bars so much, which I normally am, it's just I'm kind of on point. I really respect the amount of delivery you're giving. And you were saying earlier that you feel that you win more on crowd than can, but personally I never felt that. I think you kind of win both. And I came and I say I conquer, and nice little go on there. He kind of second, apart from the Kylo Ren with the biro pen, which I do really fucking love, to be fair, he has a few abstract bars. You're old enough to have a friend called Helen, is something that he claims, which
I have several friends called Helen.
There we go. That is the beauty of old age.
Shout out Helen.
Shout out Helen. You'll see Bard, the girl that Bard's dating will be a dinner lady with a face of a fetus. So he kind of opens you up here. I think you open him up on the second. I think his first was dope. His first was really, really good. And then, were you choking when you got your phone out, or was that a genuine thing?
I got a text from Mickey Worthless.
You actually did, and you just brought it out. You didn't set your phone to not vibrate when you were battling, or?
No, I choked. That was a joke. But again, it's not what you do; it's what you can make it look like.
The innuendo thing.
Yeah, I mean, Innuendo is the fucking king. I've watched Innuendo in Newcastle read 3 rounds off the back of his hand and probably win. Take a bit of money to do so as well, which I wouldn't do personally, but fuck it if you can get away with it. So the second, I actually think that my second round I didn't like it because I had a little bit of direct material for Conker, but then I just really wanted to get some shit off my chest in the second. And so I kind of sacrificed my second to him. You
do say that your verse was too real for these skets and kind of point to the crowd.
Yeah, and a lot of them fucking reacted. So have some self-respect, ladies. I know you're chasing around fucking battle rappers around the streets of Southampton. Sorry,
Southampton. Yeah.
But yeah, don't laugh when I call you a sket, man. Like, makes me feel bad. That cheapens us all.
And and Conker's third is pretty decent, and hits with the audience well. And here we go with yourself resurrecting that Orion's belt line for a true use, where you go into the whole the kind of Viking dungeon bars. And at the start, you're saying that you don't really want to do it, but then you kind of like showing your theatrical pedigree. Go up to the camera and say, the fire when the iron smelts, and you can hear the audience kind of rear up, and it's exciting to watch.
Yeah, that's all recycled from the like. As soon as I realised Pedro had punched me, legit one of the first thoughts that crossed through my mind was, well, that's some material for the third I don't have to write for Conker. I'm super happy with how the crowd reacted to that third round. I mean, it was just Dungeons and Dragons bars, but people liked the punchlines. People were like, people liked the punchlines enough to really want the next one, kind of thing. Yeah. What I say, like, oh, what do you want to fall out for? Money? That's soda caps.
No, that bar, I've got that down.
Like midway through a scheme, just kind of kept it going. So that might be the best round I've ever written.
No, it's a dope round. I like your second against Mac as well, and your first against O'Shea. But your third against Conker's really, really good. The Fallout money scheme's great. Marvel at the Mind Games, bitch, I'm Psylocke. Got that animated delivery, but roll with pussies like your Postman Pat. Shuffle T came with an animated delivery Postman Pat bar.
Shout out Shuffle T.
Oh, he's the best.
Incredible. Like, legitimately one of the guys who pioneered a style in battle rap is Shuffle T.
Groundbreaking.
He didn't, but he bit one of my bars though. No, it was one of those things. And actually, I think there's like Kylo Ren Biro pen used in that battle as well.
Oh, is it right? Okay, I didn't realise.
Not animated delivery personal power got used, and Kylo Ren Biro pen, I think, was used in the same battle. So.
Yeah, maybe so. And
there's only so many ways. There's only so many pop culture references flying out there. There's only so many ways you can call a guy shit. Yeah. So we will occasionally strike on the same stuff sometimes at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I find fascinating about battling as a whole. The way that it's kind of exhausting language, and how many puns, how many syllables can you stretch in different ways to make it sound different. I don't know about you. I'm sure the same. I've watched thousands of battles now. Like, I still watch battles all the time. Like, I'm constantly digesting this shit. And there's so many bars that I've heard before or hear repeat. Just yesterday, there was what came out yesterday? Tylor versus Cicero. Tylor, who I really like on URL, and Cicero had this bar about the 50 butt and kind of like 50 cent ass play bar that I heard in Av versus Rumnitty 2 months ago, that I heard in X and Y, and you hear this all recycled, which is kind of why I really like. Have you heard of someone called Dago Davalo, by the way? I would highly recommend him. I'm going to have him on the show soon. I was meant to have him on the show a few weeks ago, but something came up. But he battles for Beast Mode mostly in iBattle in Connecticut. Yeah, and he's had like 17 battles. Like, he's kind of an alumni of E. Farrell, but he's kind of stayed on iBattle. The guy is such a fucking original puncher. Like, he comes with just stuff that I would never have thought of and have never heard in battles before. It's kind of 90s kind of references and stuff like that. It's kind of similar to what you do, but I'd highly check him out. He's very, very good. And I just say to everyone to check him out. Check out Dago Davalo, Ava versus Esgram, or the best one is on Beast Mode versus Collie C. Not the best bar from the battle, because I realise I've hyped this guy up and I'm trying to sell him, but he talks about how he gives smack rappers goosebumps. They call him URL Stein, which I quite liked. So in the back of your animated delivery, innuendo's piping up in the crowd. Get that shit off your chest, lad.
Get that shit off your chest, lad. Yeah, I fucking love innuendo.
Yeah. It's great to hear that. And yeah, big up Innuendo. I'd love to have him on the pod. I'm sure we'll get him on sometime as well. And then you just end with accepting Conker as your Padawan and embracing him with a giant hug. It's quite a nice moment.
Yeah, I like the guy. I like his battles. I wanted to battle for a long time. It's just like, leave it on a good note. Because again, like, you spend the whole battle being the bad guy, but it's a show, and at the end of the pantomime, the villain still comes out and bows along with everybody. So
yeah. And in terms of talent, he is behind you. But we get onto our final battle, a huge battle, a battle that when it was announced, I was like, wow, it's like, this is a...
I didn't come this far to only come this far. I'll reign forever. And the king called like Russian czars, so I've come to money. Yeah! He said our name. Relevant bars. Relevant fucking bars. I've come to money. You smoke a big fucking blunt cigar and jack this leprechaun for his lucky charms with 3 straight rounds of motherfucking dungeon bars.
I think O'Shea had battled on King of the Ronalds before, right?
He's done a
Probably
couple,
done a few,
I think.
yeah, here
He's
and
definitely
there.
battled Bowski before me. Somebody else.
Yeah. Assorted sort of King of the Ronalds.
O'Shea has battled everybody. It's just a case of waiting your turn.
He has. And this is you defending the title against someone that Mickey Worthless, I think rightly titles the biggest UK rap legend, battle rap legend of all time, O'Shea.
O'Shea is UK battle rap.
Yeah.
In terms of what fans connect with, in terms of what fans want, in terms of what fans expect.
Mm-hmm.
He embodies the UK culture in ways that, I mean, even Luna C doesn't, because Luna C, while he is probably better better at battles than O'Shea, he's not a battle rapper. He's a rapper.
Yeah.
But you talk about the culture as this nebulous thing, but really there are guys who are battlers first before other art forms that they go for. And while O'Shea does make music, he is the culture in the UK.
Yeah, obviously a monolith of a figure. I fucking love O'Shea, and this was, I mean, how are you feeling? I mean, how did you find out that, did Mickey hit you up and be like, oh, O'Shea's going to battle you for it, or? Mickey
mentioned it shortly after I won. The one won the belt, and I was just like, yeah, okay, because a lot of ideas get floated around that will probably never come to pass. And then I saw it on the flyer, and I was just like, oh fucking hell, I've got to battle O'Shea now, and I kind of want to win, because again, I wanted to win because in terms of you were saying earlier about legitimizing the King of the Ronalds belt.
Yeah.
If O'Shea won, he would have been a better champion than me in terms of views for the league, exposure, and all that business side stuff. But he's not a King of the Ronalds battler. He is a Don't Flop battler, but that's only because Don't Flop are synonymous with battle rap in the UK. He is very much his own thing, but he's not a King of the Ronalds kind of grown talent that maybe, I mean, if he won, he would deserve to carry the belt because he's O'Shea. He can do what the fuck he likes, but he wouldn't have maybe earned it in the same way that maybe Mackenzie might if he, when we battle.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's interesting that in the introduction, I mean, we should say that this whole video is, I'm not going to mince words, it's disappointing visually.
The camera work is appalling.
The camera work is...
I have to say, right, the fucking lighting, my ears are not that dirty.
Yeah.
I shower as much as many other human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look, when it gets, if you get a close-up of my face at one point, there's this white halo where the light catches my nose. I had not had any cocaine at that point. And it just, my ears aren't yellow, my nose wasn't white, the camera work is appalling.
No, I agree because a lot of the comments are BARD needs to get his ears cleaned, and when I was watching the battle, I didn't see it, I'm not it's weird that I'm defending your earwax, but I didn't really see anything there, and the lighting is terrible. The camera, it's just one single camera that seems like it's, if you remember on the old JVC camcorders where to zoom in you would literally have to be like a kind of, it's hard to explain, like a wah pedal almost that you kind of push in and out. And it feels like, you know what I mean? And it feels like it's half cocked. It feels like it's not pulled all the way back. So it's kind of like we're kind of really, really close onto your and O'Shea's faces. And, there are some leagues, Black Ice Cartel, for example, and battles like Chilla Jones versus QP. Chilla, who was by the way, great guest on our last episode. Shout out to Chilla every time. That battle is like their faces. Danger Zone versus DNA is another one off the top of my head where it's kind of really, really close up to their faces. And this one doesn't. I mean, in the comments, Visceral again, shout out Visceral every time, titles it the BARD Witch Project, which I think was brilliant. And in the introduction, you and Mickey both make reference to the Montreal Screwjob, which is very interesting.
I mean, they called the event Survivor Series '97, and I'm a big pro wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what the plan was, and I just kind of said no. I was like, sorry, I don't want to lose this one.
But that's, I mean, it's one thing to have a jokey league where fights can kick off, but you can't rig battle results.
Not when I win like that.
No. Well, we clearly you can't. No.
I mean, Mickey does what's best for Mickey. And
how is your relationship with Mickey? How is that kind of I mean, you must be. Are you consulted on the progress of the league? Because you seem to know so much about battling. You seem to be a very level-headed, intelligent guy. Like, you know, are you technically staff on King of the Realms, or are you still just treated as a battler?
No, I'm just a battler. I'm, you know, the battler, I guess, but still very much like part of the talent roster. You know, I wouldn't consider myself sort of staff. I would have maybe when I was blogging for them, but it's a hobby. Like, it's a hobby for me. It's something you do on the weekends. So to then have to be sitting in group chat through the week and Skype meetings and like worrying about how you're going to fit rushing a blog out, you know, along with actually trying to have a fucking life with real human beings through the week. It's just a little bit much. And again, I'm never going to get any money out of it. I'm never going to get any, you know, exposure. It's a great platform to do and say that I've done and say that I've done well at. But I wouldn't really push to be on the staff side of things again.
No, fair enough. So we'll dig into the rounds, and obviously this is in Manchester as well. So I mean, fairly neutral ground, I suppose. O'Shea begins by telling the story of how King of the Rolls are kind of asked, you know, to battle Bard, and he doesn't know who does it, you know, and he's saying like, "Osh, please, quote, Osh, please do this to save the fucking face of the company." Another little wrestling bar, worst champion ever since David Arquette. O'Shea basically going on your sort of wrestling history. I've been bottled more times than you've been battled, which is probably true. Like, you know,
he's got a messed up face.
Yeah. And O'Shea with the dope bar, the dope Crash Test Dummies reference.
Oh, that was hard.
That was hard. Shout out the Christian folk rock of the mid-90s. That was a fucking...
nobody got it.
Nobody got it. I love the aggression here. I love the knock, who's there? Fuck O'Shea! Just like that fucking bluntness. O'Shea's not really had this before. There seems to be either a kind of begrudging respect, or who's O'Shea mostly faced on Don't Flop? He's faced internationals that kind of don't quite know how to take this Scouser. Whereas you know exactly how to take him. You know exactly how to battle him as well. Like, what was your approach here? What was your right... Like, I mean, how long did you have from Mickey or the Flyer coming out and being like, okay, Bard O'Shea Survivor Series till the actual battle?
I guess I maybe would have had... I don't know, mate. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll say 3 weeks, but I don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm. And obviously you bring up the Pedro punch. I headbutted his fist. Which is really nice. And then O'Shea rebuttals that, as we'll get onto. They say you did well up north. That's caused me massive offence. I'm from Newcastle, so to me, your Scouse cunts are practically French. Really nice bar. Mickey reacts to that hugely.
So, I mean, with that, it's just like... because he does, like... So... To any aspiring battle rappers who care enough to listen to this, like, understand the difference between North crowds and South crowds. Uh-huh. So South crowds, the crowds in the South are mostly rappers themselves. So they appreciate like the craftsmanship of the writing and the delivery and the rapper side of things. And a lot of them are very purist about it and what have you. Up North, they want to hear you call your mum gay, or you call the other guy's mum gay, or whatever. Yeah. It's ribald. It's like it's not dumbed down because you need to be clever with it, but it's the content just needs to be different. And so I just kind of, O'Shea's style goes down so well with northern crowds that I just had to do whatever I could to kind of take that off him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, and done well. And as we say, O'Shea comes with you didn't headbutt. You don't headbutt someone's fist if your head doesn't move. He quotes the Umbro sign and then kind of wraps it up quite nicely. Actually, we've both been hit by Pedro haymakers. I quite like that. I thought it was quite an original approach to it as well. Overemphasize your setups like you're practicing magic. I mean, we're not getting vintage O'Shea. We're on King of the Rolls. We're probably not expected to get that kind of high, kind of, I mean, what are the kind of great O'Shea performances? Like Frank Stacks. He's really good against Poe Rich. I guess Kid Twist, if you want to go more recently, But the guy obviously has classics after classics on Don't Flop. He's, I
was happy with O'Shea's performance.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad, yeah.
He didn't go light.
No, for sure. He and kind of like the thing about O'Shea that's so great about him is, unlike Pedro, that kind of Pedro can't really coast on his personality. He has to kind of bring those absurd bars, whereas O'Shea kind of can. He's very lovable. He's very likable as well, and he's got a great atmosphere around him. You talk about him shitting on Jaws in your second.
He corrects you saying that it was a random shark. You go in on his girl, Flossie, which is kind of like standard O'Shea opponent thing. Probably the worst thing I've ever seen is of that ilk is Big J, the Liverpool event. He's relentless. He spends
I don't really watch Big J battles.
Yeah, he spends his whole second round just having a massive go at her, and she's right there and just kind of po-face. It's really awkward. Sword so big, not even a Scouser could steal it.
Yeah, I said that.
That's really good. So, I mean, do you have a problem with Big J? I detected a little bit of animosity there.
No, I just think he's whack. I don't watch his battles.
I mean, he is whack. I mean, I do agree.
I think, like, again, I don't see what people see. He's not a good battle rapper, and his music's bad, and you know, he's still getting booked for events. So
hasn't been on Don't Flop for a while though.
No, probably won't. I think he's kind of, I don't know. I think Don't Flop is so choked right now with kind of mid-tier battlers that I think some of the stuff, especially some of the stuff he said on Clash of the Day, I think maybe he hasn't really helped his chances of getting back on. There was a point, I think, where Big J kind of thought he was, you know, better than he was, you know, vis-a-vis good, and he got frustrated that he wasn't getting kind of the big moves, because, you know, he paid
paid for Marv 1, right?
Yeah, we're talking to the tune of thousands of pounds.
Yeah, I know, crazy.
And you know, I think he viewed it as an investment. Like, you know, he agreed that he would get, you know, a share of the ad revenue and the, you know, the PPV, the pay-per-view events, what have you. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to leave it to your imagination to think what the pay-per-view and advertising revenue is going to be for Big J versus Marv 1. Like, it ain't going to be 3,000 fucking pounds, bro.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing that battle on the Checkpoint card and being like, what? I remember thinking, like, why is Don't Flop bringing... So, I've just looked at the battle now. It's got 56,000 views. Do you have any idea what that would convert to as income?
No. Again, I don't know anything about the back end. But no, I should stress, like, I don't have a problem with Big J, but we've had to have the conversation where we both established that we don't have a problem with each other.
Right? Yeah. No, of course.
So it's that kind of situation. But no, he does the thing.
Him coming for the King of the Ronalds chain in the future against you?
No, he's not. I don't. I think. Yeah, he has. It's me versus Big J has been suggested to him in the past, and he's very quick to be like, no.
Yeah,
he can't. Like, there's no alternate universe where he beats me. So why does he come up to lose? Like, come to King of the Ronalds just to lose again? It's like there's nothing in it for either of us, really.
Yeah, no, fair enough, man. And obviously, much deliberation at the end of this video, to which the disorientating camera angles do not help in any way. But you do come out with the chain.
Yeah,
you do beat O'Shea.
The crowd did kind of give it to me, and then, but you know, there was enough question mark there for Mickey to want to go to OT, but O'Shea wasn't on an OT. He you know, thought I won. And why does O'Shea want the King of the Ronalds belt? You know,
yeah.
Why does he want? Like, what does he get from, you know, from that? He's not going to, you know, he's not getting paid more off it. You know, I think it would have been nice for him to win if he'd convincingly won, but again, he didn't. So, you know, I think Mickey was more keen for O'Shea to win that battle than O'Shea was.
Yeah, he was. But you're a great champion to have on King of the Ronalds, and like I said at the start of the episode, I'm really, really excited to listen to the pamphlet battle. But we'll just wrap up with a few quick-fire questions. The first one being, what is your favourite King of the Dot battle, Bard?
My favourite King of the Dot battle?
Or a battle you like of King of the Dot, that you really like?
Fucking hell, my favourite King of the Dot battle, it's a Disaster one, because Disaster is my favourite battle rapper. Like, can you tell? It's probably Disaster versus Arsenal, you know?
Okay, interesting. Yeah, Arsenal's third. Disaster's third in that is fantastic.
Barbarian. I got these bars, each hand a barbara. And yeah, that and when he gets to finish it in the interview afterwards, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Again, probably closely followed by Disaster versus Iron Solomon, which is probably one of the greatest rap battles of all time.
Yep. No, for sure. That is a fucking dope battle. And I checked out B Magic versus Iron Solomon recently on the PPV. That's a fucking dope clash as well. Really, really good battle. And if I remember correctly, we spoke briefly at King of the Ronalds, but I remember saying something along the lines of how
I wasn't being that well received in my battle to you, and some I can't really remember what I was saying. Something about bars not getting. And you asked me if I was a URL fan with a sense of like disappointment. Is it worth me asking what your favourite URL battle, or is it just not your thing?
I don't remember that. I watch URL battles.
Oh, you do?
URL battles.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I love URL battles.
Oh, my bad, man.
I understand why people don't. Probably, you know what? It's probably Lux Clips. Like, for a battle, if I had to go and watch a URL battle now, I'd probably put Lux Clips on, just because it's so long, but it's got such good content dotted through it. Again, from two fantastic personalities.
No, good shout. And little bit left field here. Your favourite musical act or band that aren't hip hop related?
Ooh, that's a good one, isn't it? It'll be some metal, some power metal.
Of course.
It's a band called Glory Hammer.
Okay, I'm going to check those out, man. I never heard of them.
Listen to Glory Hammer, Wizards.
What's the album, sorry?
The album is called The Quest for the Hammer of Glory.
Okay, excellent.
It's like full on. Like I like my metal like ridiculous.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Although Black Sabbath gets a shout,
of course,
for being like a band that has reliably stuck with me for 20 years.
No, I mean, kind of when you actually consider how groundbreaking their music is, the time it came out, it's insane. And I was listening to Sabotage recently. Actually, it's a fucking dope album, really good album.
So good.
And finally, your favourite film, Bard?
My favourite film is Fight Club.
Fight Club. Okay, excellent. Interesting with the King of the Ronalds. That about sums us up, really. So I just want to say thanks again to Bard for joining us. Please check out all of his battles. They're fucking fantastic. I mean, alongside the ones that we've covered today, there are lots of other ones. The Visceral one is really, really good. The EMC one I like as well. What else is there? Bowski. Check out the Sleepy G one. Why not? You know, you both have the same bar in that battle, don't you? You both go for Bombardier one round after the other, which is quite interesting. Quite a nice little coincidence there. But yeah, check out all Bards. Check out Bard versus Martyr, you know, as well.
Don't check out Bard versus Martyr.
In like a weird kind of like cheese hall or something. It's kind of like this small, low-ceilinged.
It's awful. That's don't watch that.
All right. And how do people find you? How do people find your writings, your Twitter, etc.?
My Twitter is at BardyBag.
Right.
I don't use Twitter as much as I should.
Okay.
Just hit me up on Facebook. I'm on. Just come say hi on King of the Ronalds Back Your Talk. EP, The Bard's Tales Volume 1 coming soon.
Oh, that's cool, man. Didn't know you were doing the music.
I'm considering it. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Fucking knows what it's going to sound like.
Yeah. Well, better than Big J.
Well, it'd be really hard to anyway. No.
I'm high blood. It's just
I'm doing Big J real dirty in the latter half of this thing. No, shout out Big J.
Shout out Big J.
But yeah, Big, like, thank you very much for having me.
No, always.
It's been an absolute blast.
Yeah, no, all good, man. And definitely keep watching Bard and follow us at Battlerapresume, subscribe on Twitter, etc. if you want to get in contact with the show on Twitter or battlerepresume@gmail.com. But thanks so much, guys. And next episode is Soul, so we shall see you then.
Tell them to battle me.
Yeah, I will.
All hail Discordia. Good night.